Engines on. 5, 4, 3.
And good evening and welcome to Ellisville, Mississippi on a beautiful night for football in the Pine Belt. I'm Bill Schneider along with Jimmy Davis, and we're about 15 minutes away from football action between the #1 ranked Gulf Coast Bulldogs and the Jones Bobcats, another South Division battle. Of course, Jones comes in at 2-1 and 1-0. The Bulldogs 3-0 and 1-0. And Jimmy, every time we play these guys, even if you look at the ledger that we've beaten Jones 8 straight times dating back to 2004. It's always a tough, grinded-out defensive game with these guys. They always come to play against Gulf Coast tough, and you can't expect anything different tonight.
These kids know each other from high school, and when you get up here, it doesn't change. It's kind of a hostile environment when you come up here to play Jones, and even though that we've shown that we can strike quick and our stats probably look a little better than Jones's does, and we are the #1 ranked team in the nation. Don't take Jones lightly, because when you play here, you're playing in a hostile environment.
And then you bring in the fact that first-year head coach Ray Perkins has coached at just about every level of football, including the NFL, University of Alabama. He's been through this a million times as far as big games and those kind of things. So you throw that in there. This is just one of those, I think it's a marquee matchup. And, oh, yeah, we're now #1 thanks to those FCR computer rankings, which is a good thing. But if you're the head coach of the Bulldogs, Coach Campbell, maybe not such a good thing with all those freshmen. Who knows what their psyche's going to be going into this.
He let them have one day of hoo-ha and, talk up around practice and around the dressing room. And then he put signs up. Every time he saw one, let's put this in the back of our helmet. We're going and playing another football game. This is one more football game. If you want to stay where you are, you keep winning football games, but you play them one at a time. And he is, tonight, he is concerned about his 39 freshmen. He is concerned that we're in a hostile environment. He has watched this team on the last 3 or 4 games that they played, and they are a very aggressive. He said this is probably the most aggressive team that we faced all year. There'll be some flags. There'll be some trying to get the youngsters to get out of their game plan and, things that they're not accustomed to because they hadn't played enough college football yet. But if they can hold their own, if they can just keep their cool and run their game plan, we ought to be okay.
That's exactly right. As you hear the Jones Band getting us ready down on the field, the Band of Gold just heading into the opposite side of the field. As we said, a fantastic night for football this evening. It was a little warm today, but it's cooling off nicely here in Ellisville. Now, while they do the invocation and the national anthem on the field, we are going to hear from head coach Steve Campbell and get his thoughts on tonight's game against Jones. We talked to him earlier this week, and here's what Coach Campbell had to say.
Jones has a great football team. They're coming off of
big victory over Pearl River, where they really laid it on Pearl River and jumped up on them early. And Jones is playing really good football. They've gotten better each week. Their point production has gone up each week. And, offensively, I think they're finding a groove and figuring out what it is that their personality is going to be. And they've got an outstanding football team with a lot of talent, and they're extremely well coached.
We have a winning streak against them. But we're playing against a team that seems to be coming around. They're 2-1. They held off Pearl River last week, and going up against Coach Perkins, that's been documented all week. So this will be a definite challenge. And we've always had tough kind of defensive-minded games up there, really, since I can remember.
Yeah, no question. Jones always does a great job on defense. You know, they do a great job of squeezing, spilling down blocks, and running to the ball. And I like to talk about the X's and O's are real similar, just some people do them differently than others. And they do a great job of doing all the fundamentals. They're a very fundamentally sound defense with a lot of great football players. Offensively, what's different about them this year is they're running the football downhill. They do a good job, or are doing a great job right now, mixing the run and the pass. They've got some great backs in the backfield, an outstanding offensive line, very smart, good quarterback with a live arm, and some weapons out at wide receiver. So, you know, they're a very good football team.
The biggest news that came out this week, the new FCR rankings in the NJCAA took effect this week, and Gulf Coast jumped from number 4 all the way to number 1 due to strength of schedule, that kind of thing. And if that's the trend this week, it's going to be jumping around all over the place each week, I imagine, Coach. So the best thing to do is really, it's hard not to pay attention to it, but you try not to pay attention to it, but just go ahead and take care of business on the field. Right?
Yeah, you know, you can spend as much time or as little time, but the biggest thing you got to do is win. If you win and win and win, you're going to be there at the end. Especially the way we've got it set up now, as president of the NJCAA Coaches Association, and along with Coach Stevens at East Mississippi, Coach Hatton at Pearl River, and all of us coaches got together. And you know, in 07 we went undefeated, 12-0. And we wound up ranked 3rd at the end of the regular season. We wound up getting a share of the national championship. Then this past season, East went undefeated and wound up 2nd in the country. And you know, and the way we feel about it down south in our league is we're, as I've said a couple times on the show, we're the SEC of community and junior colleges. And so if a team goes undefeated in this league, they ought to be ranked number 1 at the end of the year and ought to have a chance to either play for the national championship at home in the Mississippi Bowl. And that's kind of what we all got together, number 1 as a state and then nationwide, and got the new computer system put in place along with the voters. I think our voters do a great job. It's just the fact that down south we've got a 14-team league. If you come out of this league as the champion, you're coming out of which now the SEC has 14. Before they had 12, and whoever came out of it is typically the best in the country. Whoever comes out of this league is typically the best in the country.
Bulldog fans and alumni, set your calendars for October 26th and 27th and come back to Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College for Homecoming 2012. On Friday, play in the annual Clem Dellenger Memorial Golf Tournament at Windance Country Club, then join us that night at the Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. On Saturday, dive into all the homecoming festivities, capped off with the big game between Gulf Coast and East Central at 2 p.m. Homecoming 2012 at Gulf Coast. Come be a part of it. And welcome back to Bobcat Stadium, as we're just minutes away between the Gulf Coast Bulldogs and Jones. As we said, Gulf Coast has won 8 in a row in this series. We have a whole bunch of streaks like that against South Division teams. And if you look at the all-time season series, it's tied like 41, 41, and 6. So, you know, if you're a historian, you throw that in there too, and it makes it interesting. We were talking about the NJCAA poll, Jimmy. We're number 4 last week, and now we're number 1. East Mississippi falls to number 4. They won this week. Northwest, number 6, they won. The 12th ranked team, Itawamba, they lost, and Hines lost again. And the way this poll is set up, or it appears anyway, each week it's going to be different. Who knows? Next week, maybe Butler will be number 1, and then Iowa Western. So this is one of those things you had to take care of business on the field before, but you definitely have to now. And, you know, it all kind of falls down to who you play and who they play and that kind of thing. It's really a very BCS type of thing.
Yeah, when you come to the South Division or when you're playing in Mississippi Junior College, it's just every game you never know what's the players have prepared for. And sometimes teams match up well against other teams. Some are over-prepared, some are under-prepared. They don't match up well. But for some reason, when we come here, for some reason, up here, no matter how good we are or how mediocre we are, which we hadn't been mediocre in a while, but how it plays a little bit of a different factor. And you definitely don't want momentum to get on the side of Jones up here. they really get loud up here.
Yes, they do. And you see us here going off of one mic. We'll explain that a little bit later. It's kind of an Apollo 13 situation. We had some equipment I basically forgot. I'm just going to be honest with you. I forgot the bag. However, we're here. We're live. We're going to land the Aquarius tonight here in Ellisville, okay? We watched that. That was on the other night. My little 4-year-old daughter had a bad dream about it. But anyway, she didn't watch the whole movie. That's another story for another day. Let's stick to football if we can. Of course, the Bulldogs, that offense has been terrific, averaging 49 points per game as you see them warming up, getting ready to enter the field down in the north end zone. Clint Hatton has been just incredibly efficient, 33 out of 49 for 684 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 67% completion rating. You cannot ask for much better than that. Anton Thornton's run for 244 yards, 4 touchdowns, Nettles 267 and 5 TDs. JoJo Snell averaging 12 yards per carry. Daquil Williams had that monster game last week, 9 catches, 298 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Daquil is averaging 33 yards every time he touches the ball. So a lot of weapons on offense. Now you look at the Jones team, they're a little, I guess, a lot like us, but they don't have the same setup. They don't run the spread option. They're a little more, I guess you could almost say, a pro set. Ben Stevens, their sophomore quarterback, 4th in the league in passing, 664 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, as you see Coach Campbell on the video stream getting ready for this one. Ruben Ducksworth is one of their better running backs, along with Kaleef Cohen. Those guys run the ball pretty nice for Jones. Stefano McNair, Taylor Higgison, and Dylan Bozier are some of their wide receivers. And we've documented all this week about playing against Ray Perkins, 70 years old, still growing strong, and from what we can tell is still loving life as a football coach. It's really kind of neat to see.
And it's not every day that you get to coach against a coach that's went the route that he has. And it has to be, at 70 years old, it has to be the love of the sport. It has to be the love of the kids. He's not out here for the paycheck he's getting. We know for a fact that he loves this sport and he loves these kids out here, and he wants to make this program grow. He's going to try to get back on track, and then someone will come in and take it over. But you got to respect the man. And, I was talking to Coach Campbell out there on the field. I said, how's this going to be about recruiting? He said, well, look at it this way. These kids weren't even born when he was coaching last, so they don't know who he is like we do. But, you got to respect the man and what he does. I think in talking to our coaches, we're going to do a few things a little bit different tonight. You're going to see some different things because of what they run and the type. They run a cover 2 defenses, so that means you either got to go over their head or you got to do something in the middle. Now, that is going to allow us to hit the holes with the run game. So we'll see how we match up line to line. We'll see how we match up wide receiver to the D-backs, and let's see what happens.
And what's interesting, we've talked about Nettles, Thornton, and Snell. We still have a whole bunch of running backs we haven't run that much. Dietrich Goff, some of the Antoine Wells, some of the other guys. We've just begun to scratch the surface as you see the Bulldogs enter the field, getting ready for this one against Jones. A solid crowd as always. We travel well talking about the Gulf Coast Bulldogs. And while we got a second, I've got to mention the tailgate tonight, Jimmy, because it was fantastic. One of the best ever, I think. Monica Miller, who's on our executive council, I told her I'd give her a shout-out. She did this ham, bacon, wrap sandwich thing, and then she told us yesterday, okay, I'm bringing my A game. Okay, those were good. Then she had these little toffee bars, and then you throw that in with the Oreos, with the cream cheese. It was that was one of the best spreads I've had at a tailgate in a long time.
It was about an 8-10 over. You guys had it spread out, and each week you're finding a new dish. I noticed that you're getting your favorite dish each week. I guess your Christmas list is growing as these road games and these tailgate parties. We keep having them every ball game. So come to the Perk campus, get involved with one. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun before the game.
It certainly is, and as we said, it couldn't pick a better day for football. By the end of the game, it's probably going to be about 70 degrees. I think it got up to about 88, 89 today. It was kind of humid, but if you go outside right now, it is picture perfect, not a cloud in the sky, and this is what football is all about. Late September, an MACJC South Division battle between Gulf Coast and Jones. We're going to get the coin toss here in just a few minutes, or I think we already had it while we were talking there a second ago. So we'll see how all that shapes up. And once again, as always, we appreciate you watching on Bulldog Live and also listening on 103.1 FM, WOSM. We're about ready to get this thing underway from Ellisville. Now, we are the only game in town as far as junior college goes tonight. Everybody else played on Thursday. And, Jimmy, you know, just before we get this one going, just a shocker that Coahoma beat Pearl River by 10 the other night. I still couldn't believe that one.
Well, and you know things can't be going well for the boys over there 20 miles to the west of us from Perk. So they got to be down. The coaching staff's got to be down, and they just having to see. You know, they had this game won here. I think when they played, or I don't know where they played the game at, but they played Jones to a very tight game. Winded up losing it right at the end of the ball game.
But one thing's for certain, when they come over to Perk in about 2 or 3 weeks, they'll be ready to play. There's no question. That Highway 26 battle will be ready to go. You're looking at Byron Nettles right now. He's back deep to receive the kick along with Eli Hughes. Jones will be going right to left. We'll be going left to right, and the Bulldogs will get the ball first this evening here in Ellisville. The kicker for Jones is Grant McLaurin. Grant is 4 out of 9 on field goals and 8 out of 8 in extra points. Grant has it teed up at the 35. And we are set to go from Ellisville, Gulf Coast, and Jones. McLaurin puts his foot into it, and we are underway. Taken by one of the upbacks, taken out to the 30, across the 35. That's Donovan Smith. Smith out to the 39-yard line on that short kick by McLaurin, and that's where Gulf Coast will set up 1st and 10 from the 39. Actually, that was Justin Brister. Check that. One of the special teams. He was second in line. He picked that one up, made a nice little return, and the Bulldogs are in business. 1st and 10 from the 38. As usual, it'll be Clint Hatton at quarterback. Starting out the game at running back this evening will be Byron Nettles. Adrian Terry and another wide receiver out left, and it looks like DeQuil Williams was in the backfield. Now he rolls out, and they do a little flank pass to Williams, trying to set up some blocks, and he goes about 4 yards on the little flanker screen to the left. Usually we don't see him line up in the backfield, but he did that time.
Well, talking to Chad before the game, he said this is something they think they got to do. Bubble screens and wide receiver screens and screens out to the running backs is something we're going to have to play with tonight.
We saw Hines do it a lot this week. We saw Gulf Coast do it on the first play as Nettles gets the pitch across the 50, run out of bounds in Jones territory at the 45. That will be more than enough for the first down of the night for the Bulldogs, and a nice run again by Byron Nettles. Looks like where he's picking up where he left off last week.
He told me before the game, I said, give us something good to talk about. He said, don't always. That was it.
You like a running back with confidence. From the Jones 45, 1st and 10, Bulldogs, opening moments of the game, no score. Adrian Terry, Tyrone Williams out left, DeQuil Williams out right, Nettles in the backfield. Cade Amaker, your super back. Hatton calling signals on his 50, play action, looking right, over the middle, pass is caught by DeQuil Williams inside the 30 to the 27, and that's another Bulldog first down. DeQuil continues to impress. He had that monster game with 3 touchdowns last week, and right there picks up another big chunk of yardage, and the Bulldogs are in good shape. 18 yards on that one, 1st and 10. They give, or the fake up the middle, Hatton on the option, keeps it, and is pulled down at the 24-yard line, a pickup of 4 on first down by Hatton, and so far the Bulldogs look crisp on this opening possession.
Yeah, he took a lick right then when he went out there, but that's what we're talking about, that double cover zone that they run. The middle's going to be open. You got to get it right over to the defensive line and hit that linebacker opening, or you got to go deep.
So 2nd and about 6 from the 26. Now on the flanker reverse, it's Adrian Terry, and Terry barely picked up a yard that time. DT got caught in some traffic on the left side, and it'll be 3rd down coming up for Gulf Coast. They've hit the right side once and the left side twice, have the Bulldogs. So it'll be 3rd and just a little over 6 from the Jones 24. Opening moments here on Bulldog Live on 103.1 FM, WOSM. 3 wideouts to the right, 2 to the left. Hatton takes the snap, looking right. He's got time, fires over the middle to DeQuil Williams again. Inside the 10, down to the 5. Another Bulldog first down. That's a 19-yard gain for Williams, and it's 1st and goal.
Well, I can tell you right now, our offensive coordinator sitting next to us, he's going to make them change defenses because he's going to keep doing that all night long till they change up.
What is that they say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So far, it's worked very well. 1st and goal from the 6. Bulldogs driving on the first possession of the game. Now the give to Anton Thornton. A nice hole in the middle down to about the 4-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal coming up. We told you Anton's numbers, 244 yards and 4 touchdowns this season. If you're just joining us, the Bulldogs took the opening kickoff and have driven the ball all the way down to the 6 where it's 2nd and goal. 12:04 to go. No score between Gulf Coast and Jones. The give again to Thornton right up the middle down to about the 2-yard line. 3rd and goal coming up. They're just chipping away down here. And I'm curious what they're going to set up here. 3rd and goal from the 2. Is it too far away to go jumbo yet, you think?
Well, no, they're right about the zone where you do that. But the way he's got feeding him, riding him inside, he can pull it out. I believe he could almost walk in the end zone, but we'll see. We are going doubles this side, so let's see what happens to the right.
2 blockers to the right on 3rd and goal. Same play up the middle to Thornton. He bulls his way down near the goal line. And this judge here called him down, so it'll be 4th and about 6 inches. Check out the replay. Thornton fell down or got down just before he crossed the goal line. So 4th and goal. The jumbo package should be coming in, featuring Cardari Gaines, Craig Frigo, and the big boys, and they are coming in on 4th and goal from the 1. Actually, it's about 4th in the length of a football. They line up in jumbo. Hatton surges through, no question about that one. They haven't signaled it yet, but he was in. Now they call it touchdown Bulldogs on the first drive of the game. You don't want to jinx it, but, Jimmy, that looked pretty easy.
It did. We want, you know, like I said, in talking to the coaches before the game, they knew what their coverages were going to be, what was going to be available to them. They attacked it exactly the way they worked on.
That one started at their own 38, so they went 62 yards on that drive. In for the extra point, Stephen Broccoli. It is up, and it is good, so 10:46 to go. Here in the first quarter, the Bulldogs draw first blood. They take the opening kickoff and go 62 yards. It's 7-0. The number 1 team in the country, looking like the number 1 team right now. I'm still having trouble processing that, jumping from number 4 all the way to number 1. It is kind of wild, but if that's what's going to happen this week, this is going to be a wild ride as far as the polls are concerned in the NJCAA, because when you start bringing in the strength of schedule, you start bringing in your opponent's strength of schedule, that makes it a little less subjective, and it brings in more objectivity, I guess, and that's what they were looking for when they put this system in place, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's kind of – you have to be a doctorate to try to figure out what they're doing here, but all we got to do, Bill, is keep doing what we're doing. And I don't know how many times in this season that on this is our 4th game already, how many times have we taken it straight down on our first possession and scored? It seems like we score on our first possession every game.
Yeah, this team hardly ever comes out flat, and they didn't tonight, at least on offense. We'll see what the defense can do here in just a few minutes. A defense that's already created 12 turnovers. That's one of the best. That's probably easily the best in the state and probably in the nation, as Broccoli boots it away and taking it in at the 15 for Jones and run out of bounds over at about the 25-yard line for Jones is Roderick Harris. He returns it back, and that's where Jones will set up shop. 1st and 10 as they get their first shot of the evening on offense. We told you Ben Stevens is their quarterback. Ben played at South Jones. Reuben Ducksworth, one of their better running backs, along with Khalif Cohen. It's Ducksworth in there right now with 3 wideouts to the left. Stevens in the gun. Let's see what they do. They give up the middle to Ducksworth, a little bit of room across the 25 to the 26. He gained about 2. It'll be 2nd and 8 coming up. Jones, a little bit of a different look. They have those white helmets. They wore those last year. They were it was an anniversary thing, and they're wearing them again. I was kind of thinking, well, maybe since we're on the road, we might break out our white helmets, but we've got our navy blues going. Anyway, 2nd and 8 second play from scrimmage from Jones, they trail 7-0. Stevens takes the snap. He's got time. Flares it out to Ducksworth, and he will go nowhere. Josh Keys over there with the first contact, along with a host of other Bulldogs, bringing up a third down coming up. You see Josh coming in, making the play. And also Dawson Wells, who was profiled last night on Bulldog Blitz. 3rd and 8 from the 26. Gulf Coast leading 7-0. 9:38 to go. First quarter. 2 wideouts on both sides. Stevens back. 3-man rush. He's looking deep over the middle. Finds a man at the 45 and out to midfield for a first down. Is Jamichael Willis. Willis got open in the middle, and Jones hits a big play and takes it out to midfield.
Bulldogs backed up in a soft zone that time. This Stevens kid can throw the ball. I've watched him through high school. I can tell you a little bit about him later on, but here we go with the play.
1st and 10 just across midfield for Jones. They fake the handoff and throw it out once again to Jamichael Wills, and Wills is run out of bounds after little or no gain. The Bulldogs had nice pursuit that time. And it'll be second down coming up. As we said, 9:15 to go, first quarter. Gulf Coast leading 7-0 here on Bulldog Live and 103.1 FM WOSM. Officially, that's no gain that time. 2nd and 10 from the Gulf Coast at midfield. Let's just call it midfield. Got a bunch formation here to the left. Stevens in the gun with Ducksworth back there with him. And the give to Ducksworth, trying to go right, cuts it back inside and picks up about 4 before he's brought down by the Bulldog defense. Trey Wofford in there leading the way. Brandon Keel and Warren Conway also in, so it'll be 3rd and right about 7 coming up for Jones. The Bulldogs with that 3-3 front, trying to put pressure on Stevens. 3rd and 7. Cohen in there in the backfield with him, and they throw it out to Cohen. The screen pass, though, is overthrown. The Bulldogs had good pressure coming up the middle from Cavellis Luckett and Travis Taylor, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. Taylor and Luckett really blew that play up, Jimmy.
We had a blitz call, too, then. We dialed up from our safeties. Our corners, they realized it was going to be a screen pass. The 2 guys got in. Taylor got in, got some pressure on him. Good thing he threw it over his head. He would have not got the first down. He would have got hammered because Bulldogs are coming hard.
So we'll see the first punt of the night from McLaurin. Grant McLaurin standing on his own 40 and gets the punt away. Pretty solid kick. Josh Key's going to let it go out of bounds right at the 10-yard line, so that's where Gulf Coast will start, actually at the 13. Either way, be a long field for Gulf Coast with 8:15 to go in the first quarter, and Gulf Coast leading 7-0. So far, so good. The defense gets a 3 and out. The offense takes the opening kickoff and goes all the way. I don't think you can ask for too much more.
No, and we want to see more of what we did the last time. I think we continue to hit that zone spot, that soft zone, until they cover up. Once they move up and have to put man coverage on them, then our big guys can go deep.
Yeah, if they can keep one step ahead of the defense, then they'll be in good shape. So from the 13, it'll be 1st and 10 Bulldogs here from Ellisville, Mississippi, basically halfway between Hattiesburg and Laurel, right off I-59. 1st and 10 on play action. It's Clint Hatton going deep. Tyrone Williams is down there, but the pass is incomplete, maybe a little bit overthrown. He was well covered that time, and it'll be 2nd down. Why not take a shot downfield? That's what the Bulldogs did. He had about a half a step, but the ball was just a little overthrown. As we said, pretty good coverage that time by Jones. It'll be 2nd and 10.
You know, they were proud about how Hatton's been running the ball club, talking to the coaching staff, and you saw then he put it only where the receiver could catch it or nobody's going to catch it.
And that's a sophomore for you. On the pitch, Byron Nettles, and he is upended right at the 15. Might have picked up a couple of yards that time. Good pursuit over there by the Jones defense. Devontae Barnett in on the stop. So it'll be 3rd and right about 8 for Gulf Coast. They're up 7-0 here at Jones. Let's see what Chad Huff, Coach Campbell dial up here. And now time is called. And I don't know if, I think this is an official's timeout. You know, the play clock has been stuck at 40. We were told that before the game, so the play clock, I'm wondering if they're just catching on to that. Because we were told before the game that the play clock would be a non-factor because, at least on the field anyway, it's not working. So let's see what comes of this. Maybe they got some technical issues as well. You see the ref, maybe he forgot his radio gear too. Is he going to say something else? Okay, reset the. So we're going to set in the game clock to 7:49. We'll keep an eye on the play clock. It's been going back, resetting to 25, but you see it's not moving. Or at least we see it's not moving. Now it is. Maybe it's working now. Who knows? Anyway, 3rd and 8. On play action, Hatton under pressure, tries to get out of there, and he was brought down. They brought some pressure from the outside, and Jones was ready for that. They did a nice job that time on the pursuit. Looked like Felton Collins got in there to get the sack, and a nice stand by the Jones defense. And now Zach Pinkerton will be punting from just inside his end zone. Jarrett Smith is back. Smith has already returned 1 punt this year for a touchdown. He'll stand right about at his own 40. Pinkerton averaging 37 yards a kick, not much pressure, and gets away a nice high boot, which hits and takes a Jones bounce, and it's down right at the Jones 40. So they'll have good field position to start their second drive of the game with 7:01 to go here in the first quarter, and the Bulldogs leading 7-0. Well, you look around the MACJC, Jimmy. We told you about East Mississippi. They won big over Delta. I think that score was 56-0. Northwest got by Northeast 19-13. So those two top 10 teams got wins. But Itawamba and Hines, they dropped their games. And Hines dropped one at home to Colin. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Kind of a little bit of a surprise there considering how well they played in the second half against us. 1st and 10, Jones. It's Ducksworth with the carry, trying to dice his way through. Breaks about 3 tackles before he's finally brought down at the 39. Check that. That's Khalif Cohen down to the 39-yard line. Might have picked up a yard, but that was a hard-earned yard by Cohen.
Well, we had to play stop. We just couldn't tackle him, and they hit him and hit him and hit him, and finally Pursuit got up and got him on the ground. But, boy, he took a lot of licks only to get 1 yard.
Hard-earned yard. Officially it's 2nd and 10. Just inside the 30, Gulf Coast leading 7-0. Stevens that time under center with play action. Now he's under pressure, going to roll out, and he goes down. Coming in with the heat for the Bulldogs. It's Deshae Williams that time, along with Damian Gaines. And that was they drove him way back that time. It's a loss of 7, so it'll be 3rd and extremely long that time, and great pursuit by the Bulldog defense.
Yeah, he's strictly a pocket passer. You're going to see that. He's not going to hurt you with his legs.
Officially, it's 3rd and 16. Ball on the Gulf Coast 46 in the gun. It's Stevens. Has time this time. Just throws a short out. And covering that up is Nigel Green. Throwing that out to one of his wideouts, Stefano McNair. But Nair maybe picked up a yard. And it'll be 4th and long for Jones. And once again, the Bulldogs defense stiffens. And so far what I've seen, Jimmy, here is a lot of team speed by Gulf Coast.
Yeah, Hines didn't respect our speed in the first half last week, and when you got it, you got it, and it's evident Gulf Coast has speed on both sides of the ball.
Seems to be 2 or 3 steps faster, at least so far. You see Josh Key standing back on his own 10-yard line, awaiting the punt from McLaurin, and kind of off the side of his foot, goes out of bounds on the far sideline, right around the 20. It'll be marked at the 23, so Gulf Coast will take over right there. 4:52 to go here in the first quarter, and the Bulldogs leading 7-0. We were talking about that Colin Jones game. Colin has come on. They struggled a little bit, but they got another win last week. They beat Hines, and we go play them in a few weeks. And then we got Northeast coming in. They actually beat Jones. So I don't think it really gets any easier down the schedule.
You got to play it game by game. That's right.
Singular instead of plural, as Coach Campbell said last night. 1st and 10, little swing pass out left, and it's dropped. And DeQuil Williams had his hands on it, but couldn't hold on. It'll be 2nd down. They tried to set up a little bubble screen over there, but it didn't happen. And it'll be 2nd and 10. Very quickly, the Bulldogs come to the line. The spread option offense. 1 wide out to the left, 2 to the right. 2 running backs in the backfield with Clint Hatton. He takes the snap, gives to Nettles. Nettles tries to cut the corner, turns it inside, and barely got much, if anything. Good pursuit again by the Jones defense. And the last 2 drives, Jimmy, Jones has kind of figured out where they are here, giving the Bulldogs some problems, setting up a 3rd and long.
Yeah, I think we moved a little bit out of what we were doing right, and that was going in that middle zone and hitting that opening and trying to relax that line a little bit. Coach Campbell knows they got a good D-line. He said they had a good D-line. So I expect us to keep trying to work that zone.
3rd and 10 officially from the 23. 3 wide outs to the right. Hatton scrambling, being pursued, throws it to Adrian Terry, wide open on the sidelines, across the 40, and his knee goes down right there, but that'll be enough for a Gulf Coast 1st down. Nice improvisation by Clint Hatton. He had some heat behind him, and he just threw it out there, and DT got it, and that moves the chains.
And as you can see, the coverage they got, when we move somebody from out of our backfield over to a zone area, and there's nobody there because they're trying to watch these guys deep, that's what hurts them.
From the 41, 1st and 10, Gulf Coast, they lead 7-0, 3:53 to go. First quarter, Byron Nettles on the cutback across the 45 to the 47-yard line. He'll pick up 6 yards on 1st down as the running game gets going a little bit for Gulf Coast. And as we said, Nettles had that monster game a week ago Thursday against Hines, and he's still being that sophomore leader that you love to see. He comes out, gets a break. I believe that's Anton Thornton back in on 2nd and 4 from the 41. Looks like a Jones player jumped. It'll be a free play, but that's going to be our first penalty of the game, and I believe it's going to be encroachment against Jones. Looks like their right end moved and made contact with Chris Frigo. And it is encroachment. You know what, Jimmy? His mic works pretty well. We can hear it all the way up here.
It does very clear. Best we've had all year, I think. I was going to ask you, did you know Williams good enough to know how much jawing he does on the field?
I'll tell you about that in just a second. From the 48, it's 1st and 10 on play action. Hatton going deep, looking for DeQuil, and it's a jump ball. DeQuil brings it in inside the 5. What a catch by DeQuil Williams. 1st and goal from the 4, and when you make catches like that, I think, Jimmy, you can jaw all you want to.
You can talk when you do things like that. I want to see right at the very end if he didn't. Maybe a little shove there, but I know that the defender, once he turned and tried to find the ball, this guy's 6'3", he's going to get up there and get it.
He has been worth the price of admission so far for Gulf Coast. All the way down to the 4, it's 1st and goal Bulldogs. They already lead 7-0, looking for more. They give up to middle to Anton Thornton. He's stacked up right at the 6-yard line. Or check that, at the 4, it'll be little or no gain. You're talking about DeQuil talking. From what I understand, he's a very nice guy. But, yeah, he does like to talk a little bit. But when you make plays like that, they say it ain't bragging if you can back it up, right?
He can back it up. There's no question about it. I just noticed on the flag, the offsides, that he and the corner was having a good little discussion down there.
As that happens a lot, I'm sure. 2nd and goal from the 4. It's Thornton again up the middle, dicing his way down to about the 2-yard line. And it'll be 3rd and goal coming up for Gulf Coast. He's one-on-one out there as DeQuil with the Jones corner, and I'm sure they're exchanging a few pleasantries. Michael McLaurin has been covering him. 3rd and goal coming up from for the Bulldogs from the 2-yard line. 2:06 to go, first quarter. It's 7-0. Gulf Coast leading and looking for more. And here comes the jumbo package in. Frigo and Gaines. Going out as Williams and Jay Yates. From the 2, Thornton bulls his way down to the right side. He may have gotten to the plane, but he got pushed back. A good job by Jones, and let's see. The ball came loose, but I think they blew it down. And they did. They gave him forward progress, so that's not going to be a fumble, but it will be either third. Yeah, it's 4th and goal. That's what I thought. 4th and goal, almost from the same spot where they scored just a minute ago.
Yeah, I was watching that. I thought that maybe if the ball would not have come loose, maybe they'd have called it a touchdown. I thought he got across the line, but it showed on the replay it was right at it.
So 4th and goal, Hatton trying to sneak in again. The second Everett pushes him through the pile, and that will be a Bulldogs Dutch touchdown. Yes, they signal it. Touchdown Bulldogs. Same play, 4th and goal. Jumbo does it again.
You know, last week one official called us a touchdown and one didn't. You see how these officials are doing it tonight? They are not immediately signaling touchdown on these line plays like this right there in the red zone.
Another terrific drive by Gulf Coast. Starting inside their own 30. They scored again. Broccoli in for the extra point. It is up, and it is good. So with 1:22 to go in the first quarter, Clint Hatton has 2 touchdown runs of 1 yard, and it's 14-0, the #1 team in the nation, Gulf Coast, enjoying a 2-touchdown lead right off the bat.
You know, you talked about rankings and things like that, and, yeah, we're going to keep our eye on it because, you know, it's important at the end of the year. That's the thing. It's important at the end of the year. You got to take care of things as you go. A team like this, if you can put them away and put them away quick and add some points in there, you know, Coach Campbell told us on the interview of last week's game, I'm not going to have a team come out in the second half and do what I did. He said, I take most of the blame of what happened in the second half last week. He said it on the radio, and he said it, you know, a couple of times on your show. So I think you'll see a team that's going to try to play 4 quarters tonight.
Yeah, and he preached that really from the beginning of the year, especially after the Holmes game. He wanted to see what these guys can do if they play a complete game. And I guess really every coach wants to do that, and I don't know if that's impossible or for them. You know, they're always expecting perfection. There's always coachable moments, but so far the Bulldogs have looked terrific here in Ellisville with 1:22 to go, leading 14-0. Broccoli already been busy kicking off, boots another one. Taken right at the 3. That's Roderick Harris. Harris out to about the 14, and he is hammered over there. The Bulldog special teams, led by Trey Wofford, putting a hammer on Harris. And Jones will be starting at their 19-yard line, down 14-0. We'll take a look at this one again via Bulldog Live instant replay. And Wofford just blew that thing up and pushed the runner backwards. Harris is going to remember that one in his sleep, I think.
Well, Wofford's had several special teams plays here tonight. He's done a heck of a job here tonight.
So Jones down 14-0, trying to get something going here with 1:15 to go in the first quarter. Stevens the quarterback, and now flags fly. It looked like there was some encroachment on the offensive line by the Bobcats. That would be Frederick Moore, one of the linemen. Here we go. And it was 66. That's a second penalty on Jones so far this evening, so it moves him 5 yards back to the 14, 1st and 15. The Bulldogs show blitz, now drop back into coverage. As Stevens takes the handoff, throws it out right, and the pass is dropped over in the right flat. They were trying to set up something for Willis. It'll be 2nd and 15 for Jones. You know what, Jimmy? So far, so good. I mean, it's kind of hard to nitpick this kind of play so far.
Yeah, this kid, he don't, you know, you got to watch him now. He can throw the ball.
And we will on 2nd and 15. 2 wideouts to the left, 2 to the right. Bulldogs show blitz, now back off into coverage. Stevens, 3-man rush, has time over the middle. The pass is incomplete. He was going once again for Jamichael Willis, but 3 Bulldogs were on him. He would have had to thread the needle that time, and he couldn't. It'll be 3rd and 15 coming up. Great coverage that time by the Bulldogs, converging on the receiver.
It looked to me like we went from a blitz package back into a nickel package because we had like 6 guys back there around the football.
1:06 to go, first quarter. 14-0 Bulldogs. 2 Clint Hatton TD runs on 4th and goal via the jumbo package. Stevens in the shotgun. He's looking To his left, man open, and caught at the 39. That's going to be a Jones first down. Nice job that time by Stefano McNair. Just did the comeback route and beat Derek Moncrief, and that's going to be a Jones first down. Not only does it give him a first down, but it gets him out of a bit of a hole.
Well, it was a good, you can see him holding the ball. He's a pocket passer. You can see what Travis did to him whenever he got there. He hit him hard.
All right, now the run up the middle down to the 45. That's going to be Reuben Ducksworth, and you see how fast Ducksworth is. Picked up 5 quick yards that time in the waning moments here of the first quarter. 2 wideouts to the left, 2 to the right as Jones tries to pick up the offensive tempo. They throw it out and hammered right at the 46-yard line. After a little or no gain for Jones is Dylan Bozier. And coming in the late of wood that time is Josh Keys coming out of his cornerback position. And quickly, it'll be 3rd and right about 4 with 19 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Josh Keys, of course, made that game-clinching interception a week ago Thursday against Hines in the end zone. And it's always kind of weird when you have 2 players wearing the same number. You got Keys on defense wearing number 5, Tyrone Williams on offense wearing number 5. As they measure for the first down, didn't realize he picked up that much yardage. And he's going to be about a half yard short. So that hit by Keys on Bozier was pretty strong. You can see about from where the white on the football is to the nose is how far they got to get for the first down.
I think Keys is a little bit upset about the 2 plays back. He was held on that incomplete pass out in the flats. He was pretty aggravated about that. He took some frustrations out on that one right there. There's no doubt about it.
He did deliver a pretty nasty hit there on Bozier. So it'll be 3rd and officially 1. The ball just outside the 48-yard line. Let's see what the Bulldog defense can do as they give up the middle. That's Ducksworth. He's got the first down and more in the Bulldog territory down to the 44-yard line. And you see why Ducksworth is their bell cow running back. This guy's one of the state leaders, and he is very quick.
Yeah, he took it straight off the right tackle and got the first down. That's the thing you got to be scared about on these short yardage situations.
Quickly they come to line. Stevens throws it out, and that pass is incomplete, nearly picked off by Josh Keys. They were looking for Bozier again, and that'll be the last play of the first quarter. Terrific coverage that time by Josh Keys. All Gulf Coast here in the first quarter. They lead it 14-0 over Jones. We'll take a 30-second break, reset, and get ready for second quarter action here on Bulldog Live and 103.1 FM WOSM. Back here from Ellisville, Mississippi, Bill Schneider with Jimmy Davis. So far, it's all Gulf Coast. They lead 14-0. Jones trying to answer here with the first play of the second quarter. They've got it on the Gulf Coast 43-yard line as the Bobcats try to upset the #1 team in the country, the Gulf Coast Bulldogs. Ben Stevens at quarterback, Reuben Ducksworth, the running back for Jones. On 2nd and 10, first play of the second quarter. Now, Stevens in trouble, gets it away. The pass somehow is caught by Ducksworth, breaks a tackle. He's loose to the 20, cuts it back. That's going to be a Jones touchdown. Well, we blew up the play, but we blew it up the wrong way.
Well, the Bulldogs got a player down. right there at the 30, around the 32 or 3-yard line. But actually what happened then, the Bulldogs had, I thought Travis had him sacked. I really did. And he got a ball that was in traffic that just happened to go up and get it. Made a good move. Could have been a holding call. They didn't call it, and turned it back inside for the touchdown.
And you got to give credit to Stevens for keeping the play alive, and also to Reuben Ducksworth for making something out of nothing. The injured player on the field for Gulf Coast is David Howell, the freshman defensive lineman from Ocean Springs. But however you slice it, it's a 43-yard touchdown pass from Stevens to Ducksworth, and Jones is an extra point away from making it a one-touchdown game. As you see Coach Campbell coming across the field, Danny Anderson out there along with the Jones trainers as well, checking in on David Howell, and we'll hope he's okay. And that was a strange developing play. Like you said, Jimmy, it looked like Travis Taylor had him dead to rights back there. Stevens gets the pass away. Ducksworth breaks one tackle, and kind of where all that commotion was, where he caught it, might have been where Howell got hurt. And, you know, Ducksworth had open field out there, and, you know, they're skilled players, especially here in the South Division. You can't, those guys get open, and you can forget about it.
Yeah, you can see how quick that Travis did close on him, but you can see how long Stevens held the ball, giving his receiver time to hit an open zone. He was covered. I thought we were going to tip the ball away or it was going to be over his head. He did get up. He showed some vertical leap and got up and got it. And he got some help down there around the 10-yard line where the block happened. But you know, it looks like our injured player is going to come to his feet. I think he got his bell rung. I think he got hit from the side up near the helmet. And as you see right now, he is kind of wobbly going off.
All right, that's good news, though. Danny Anderson with him. Also with Coach Campbell, making sure David Howell's okay. David's done a lot of work, as a lot of our freshmen have. He's 6'2", 255 from Ocean Springs. So he'll get off the field, maybe get those cobwebs out and get ready. Hopefully he'll be okay. He'll take a couple of plays off, I'm sure. Like you said, a little woozy, but should be all right. Meanwhile, in for the extra point is Kyle McLaurin for Jones. Grant McLaurin, excuse me. Grant McLaurin with Stevens holding. As the Bobcats hit on a 43-yard touchdown pass from Stevens to Ducksworth. Snap is down, kick is up, flag on the play. The PAT is good. I'm wondering if the Bulldogs jumped off sides there. Let's see what that's about. Never really understood. I think unless somebody gets decleated, I don't think you should ever throw a flag on an extra point.
Yeah, it's just kind of, they're going to decline it, keep the points, and, you know, take the 5 yards down there. But it's just, it ties the game up. And I think it's what you're going to see happen right here. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Outside, number 16 on the defense. That number is 9, 8 points. Good.
Yep. Okay, so with 14:49 to go here in the first half, Jones gets on the board via that 43-yard touchdown pass from Ben Stevens to Reuben Ducksworth. And as we said at the beginning of the game, Jimmy, nothing ever comes easy here. Just when we're thinking, hey, we're up 14-zip, things are looking good, Jones comes back and answers.
And that's what happens to a speed team like we are. You have those little hiccups. We had a hiccup right there. Now, the best thing Gulf Coast can do now is answer that score. Take it down and score.
Let's see if they can do that. Eli Hughes back along with Xavier Bingham, and it's going to be Bingham at the 2 on the right sideline. Bingham to the 15, to the 20. He's got some room, breaks it outside across the 40, and run out of bounds at the 44-yard line. But we've got a flag over on the far sideline, so it's a good bet this one's probably coming back. A nice run back, though, by Xavier Bingham. We've seen him do that a couple of times this year. Great job on special teams and on defense for Gulf Coast. But as we said, probably all for naught, and it is a block in the back on Gulf Coast. That's the first penalty of the evening on the Bulldogs.
Well, you're going to start, Bill, where we'd have had it around midfield, and it's going to back us up to the 15-yard line. And it's something you don't want to do. As I told you, you're in a hostile environment up here. You had a team that has the ability to strike quick. Something happened to us just a while ago that normally wouldn't happen to a Gulf Coast, but there you hear the block in the back call. It's going to back it up to the 15-yard line. Now we got to change our play calling.
Be kind of interesting to see if Chad Huff and Coach Campbell decide to go back to those throws over to the middle to DeQuil Williams. He's already had a big night receiving, set up one touchdown with a long pass and made some catches over the middle as well. So it's 1st and 10 from the Bulldog 15. They lead 14-7 against Jones. Clint Hatton at quarterback gives up the middle to Byron Nettles, picks his way across the line of scrimmage and maybe picked up a yard. And that's about it. It'll be 2nd and 9 coming up. And with each running play, it seems that Jones is starting to clog up that middle.
Yeah, and I think that our guys knew this was probably going to happen. That's why they got to back them off with hitting that zone pass over the middle.
2nd and 9, we'll call it, just outside the 15 on play action. Hatton in trouble. The pocket collapses. He rolls out to his right and breaks a tackle and gets hammered back at the 10-yard line. The Jones pursuit was all over him that time. Chavez Sims led the way along with a couple other players. And looking on the replay, it looked like he was going to throw it away, but then he broke that tackle and had nowhere to go. Jones was all over him.
I'm surprised he didn't throw it away. He was out of the tackle box. He could have thrown it in the Bulldog bench over there and not taking that sack. He usually don't do things like that. You don't see him make those kind of decisions. But the Bulldogs are backed up now, 3rd and 12.
Hatton in the gun, 3 wideouts to the left, 4-man rush. Now on the screen pass, it's dropped, but there is a flag over on the far sideline. They were trying to set up the screen to Thornton, and I'm wondering if this is an illegal block as well by one of our wideouts. Let's see. I think it is. Yep. Boy, this is a game of momentum. Everything's rolling along. They hit one play, and all of a sudden you're in this predicament. Let's see what the call is. All right, so the Bulldogs go 3 and out after Jones answers with the touchdown with 13:35 to go here in the first half. And at the present moment, the Bobcats kind of feeling a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, we made another little hiccup over there, and that's not something the Bulldogs are accustomed to doing. We got to punt it out of our own end zone.
Zach Pinkerton 2 yards deep and gets the punt away. It hits right at midfield and down at the 48-yard line by JoJo Snell. Once again, Jones will have good field position. They're down 14-7. So what do you do now? 13:27 to go. First half, it's 14-7 Gulf Coast. Jones has some momentum. This would be a nice time for a turnover.
Yeah, we need to pick one. I kind of feel like they're going to try to go deep quick, and we need a turnover quick. We need an interception.
You're going to break this momentum because the Bobcats feeling new life at home, trying to pull off the big upset. Of course, really the way we look at it, any game in the South Division really isn't an upset when these teams play. Play action for Stevens on first down. Throws it out left. The pass is caught right at the 45-yard line. So picking up a short gain for the Bobcats is Roderick Harris, and he'll pick up 4 on first down. You hear the band of gold to the far side getting things cranked up. Got a nice battle of the bands tonight, too. Jones also has a good band. So it's 2nd and about 7 from the 45. Stevens in the gun, gives up the middle to Ducksworth, has some room, dices his way down to about the 40, so it'll be 3rd and 3 coming up for Jones. And what we've noticed so far, every team has a pretty good running back, especially here in the South Division. Hines had a couple of good running backs. Ducksworth shown he's good, and we know all about the Gulf Coast running backs. When you got those good skilled players, you have options.
You do, and when you got some strength and when you got plenty of guys you can keep running out there, that helps your ball club. 3rd and 3 from the 41. Jones
trying to get another first down. It's Ducksworth. He's got it and more across the 35 and finally stopped over on the far sideline about at the 33-yard line, but that's another Jones first down, and that time Ducksworth got around the end, cut it back, and had plenty of room to run, and now Jones has some momentum.
Got a flag down over there, Bill. I believe we got holding against Jones. This one's coming back.
And that would be very fortunate for the Bulldogs. Let's see if, in fact, that is your call.
Holding, number 10 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, third down.
So a key holding penalty slows down the drive, at least for the moment, for the Bobcats. 12-12 to go. First half. Gulf Coast leading 14-7. Do you dial up a blitz here?
Yeah, I think you got to come with a run blitz or something because these guys, Ducksworth's fast. He's quick. Once he hits a hole, he's gone. So I think you got to plug the holes with some extra guys.
Let's see what they do here. 2 wide outs to the right, 2 to the left. Ducksworth in the backfield with Stevens, who's standing right at midfield. Bulldogs kind of showing blitz now, backing off. Now Stevens throws a little outlet pass to Ducksworth, breaks one tackle, but cannot break the rest of the pursuit. Good pursuit that time by Gulf Coast. And that'll bring up a fourth down. Looks like Cavellis Luckett had him and lost him, but good pursuit that time by the rest of the Bulldogs, Warren Conway and company, and Jones is going to go for it. At 4th and 2, they give to Ducksworth, and he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage, and I believe the Bulldog defense held. Let's see where the spot is. It's right at the 40, and that's not going to cut it. First down, Bulldogs, as the defense comes up. Jones tried to run that play quickly. Gulf Coast had nothing of it.
Well, and, you know, that's where our strength is. He ran toward our tackle in the end. We're strong there. We're not strong right up the middle or trying to go wide. So I was a little confused of why that play was called.
But it's a good call if you're a Bulldog fan because they've got it 1st and 10 on their own 40, leading 14-7 here in the first half. A good stop by the Bulldog D. Hatton now on play action, going deep to DeQuill Williams on the post. That pass is overthrown. A little contact, but they're not going to call the flag, and quite frankly, he probably couldn't have caught it anyway. You'd have liked to seen the laundry, but I don't think he could have caught that.
I think that's why they didn't throw it. I think the ball was overthrown and he couldn't get to it. He definitely had contact, and he had him open. So, you know, in the last couple of weeks, especially last week, he hit those passes right there for touchdowns.
So the long incompletion brings up 2nd and 10. Ball on the 40. Bulldogs trying to capitalize after the Bulldog defense stopped Jones on 4th down. They rearranged the play, 8 seconds on the play clock. That appears to be working now. As Hatton brings Nettles in motion, they give to him on the sweep. Byron thinks about cutting it, then brings it outside and is run out of bounds after a gain of about 2 or 3, so it'll be 3rd and long coming up. That play really never developed, and the Jones defense did a nice job of stringing it out.
We're not a very good 3rd and long team. Our offense is not geared up for 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 7. We're more like a 3rd and a 3, 3rd and a 4 because we like to drive it and power it through those tackle holes and guard holes. So let's see what we got to do here. I think we're going to have to throw it down the field somewhere.
Chambliss and Williams are split out right, 2 wide outs, or rather to the left, 2 wide outs to the right. DeQuill Williams and DeAdrian Terry. Looks like Thornton's in the backfield now on 3rd and 9. Hatton in the pocket, plenty of time to throw, swings it out, caught by Thornton. That's a Bulldog first down. He somersaulted on the far sideline, but no worse for wear. How about that tackle over there? A great job, though, by Thornton. A little wheel route out of the backfield, and that's going to move the chains.
And you can see his toughness, though, and his speed. You know, last year we used him a lot when we got inside the 5-yard line. Now he's getting to play a lot more up and down when the Bulldogs need the big play. He's one of you guys you want to go to.
On that wheel route, Thornton was very quick coming out of the backfield. 1st and 10, 3 wide outs to the left. Eli Hughes in the backfield with Hatton. They throw a little flare out here to DeAdrian Terry. Tries to make a tackle, but he can't. Brought in that time a nice open field stop by Devontae Barnett. And that'll bring up 2nd down. DT really had nowhere to go that time as Barnett came in to make the tackle.
Chambliss missed his block over here, and he's got to get that block to kick that play out. That way it gives him some room to come down the sideline. That time he missed it, and they got him right at the about the line of scrimmage. Going to be second right at 10 to go.
Yeah, officially looks like it's no gain from the 43 of Jones. The fake to Nettles. Up the middle is Hatton, and he takes it down to the 40 on the quarterback draw, picking up about 5, so it'll be third and a long 5 coming up for Gulf Coast. 9:20 to go, first half. The #1 team in the nation, Gulf Coast, leading Jones 14-7. Here on Bulldog Live and 103.1 FM, WOSM. Now Nettles back in the game. Officially, it'll be 3rd and 6. Ball just across the 40 of Jones. They fake it. Hatton on the draw again, taking it down to about the 36. He's going to be about 2 or 3 yards short of a first down, so it'll bring up 4th and probably a long 3 coming up. Back-to-back quarterback draws. Make it decision time for Coach Campbell and offensive coordinator Chad Huff.
Yeah, I was looking at Chad to see what they thought about doing. I'm not too sure that the Bulldogs might not call a timeout and retalk this, but we're putting in all our wideouts, so let's see what happens here.
You got 2 wideouts and some beef up front. Curious to see what we got here. 4th and 2 officially. DeQuill Williams coming out. They throw it out to him. Takes the pass. He will not go anywhere. A terrific open field tackle that time by Jones. Tackled by Dion Fairley. He just walked that play right on in. And I think somebody missed a block that time.
Missed the block, and we kind of decoyed that play a little too much. I think it didn't catch him by surprise. He came out of the backfield. I think they knew that we were going to do something with Williams then.
Yeah, especially when Williams was coming out, you could tell that's what they were going to do. It was just a foot race. That's one of those. Patton would have had to throw a bullet there to get him in front of the defender coming in. But whatever the case, Jones's defense holds on 4th down, and they get it back. Now on 1st down, it's Stevens out to his right, and the pass is caught right at midfield. Catching the pass is Kevin Green. And Green advances the ball, as we said, to midfield. It'll be 2nd and right about 1.5 yards for Jones. Inside 8 minutes to go, first half. The Bulldogs leading 14-7. Now they give up to middle. It's Khalif Cohen, and Cohen stopped at the line of scrimmage. He will go nowhere. Brandon Keel in on that tackle. Travis Taylor also in on the pursuit. And that'll bring up 3rd and right at 1. Ball at midfield. Typical Gulf Coast Jones game so far. Gulf Coast owned the first quarter. Jones now with some momentum here. 7:20 to go first half. They're trying to convert on 3rd and 1. Kind of a pro set here out of the I formation. 2 running backs behind Stevens, and looked like the right tackle moved. And if that is the right tackle, that's the 2nd time he's moved. That's Frederick Moore, and that's going to cost him 5.
Well, he stayed in the stance too long. Big guy can't stay down that long.
The false start penalty kind of slowed down Jones a few minutes ago, and that one pushes him back 5. Instead of 3rd and 1, it's going to be 3rd and 6. The ball in Jones territory. 7:05 to go, first half. Gulf Coast leading 14-7. Now they spread it out. Cohen in the backfield, and another flag comes in. And I believe right before the snap happened, Jones called timeout. And I'm kind of watching this right now. Looking at the Jones sideline, Jimmy, it looks like Coach Perkins has basically delegated the authority. You see the offensive coordinator in there, Coach Thornton now. Coach Perkins coming in, talking to his men, and that's veteran leadership for you.
He has not been involved other than talking to his coaches throughout this game. This is the first time I've seen him go up to a group of players and talk to them, but he pretty much goes from coach to coach whenever they got the ball or they're on defense, and he's kind of delegating authority to these younger coaches.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, defensive coordinator Steve Davis in talking with his group. Except for that one long play, they've done a pretty good job slowing down the Jones offense but that one play resulted in a 43-yard touchdown. So it's 3rd and 6 from the Jones 45. 6:57 to go. Gulf Coast leading 14-7 in this MACCJC South Division battle. Now a little screen pass out right, and that is going nowhere. 3 Bulldogs in to shut that down. Josh Keys, Nigel Green, Travis Taylor, and Bozier had no chance on that one. Great pursuit that time by Gulf Coast. It's going to bring up a punting situation.
Yeah, he tried to roll everybody to the far side and then turn around and throw it to the backside. Bulldogs stayed at home. They didn't bite. That play didn't work. Forces them into a 4th and 9. They'll have to punt this one away, I believe.
So 6:23 to go, and the Bulldogs leading 14-7. You know, we haven't had a punt block yet. What do you think? How about right here?
Good. This would be the time to do it.
Some pressure coming in, but McLaurin gets the punt off. It rolls to about the 25, and Keys picks it up, tries to reverse his field, breaks a tackle. He's got room to the 30, then cuts it back inside to the 40. He's got room, and there goes Josh Keys. He's got 2 men to beat, down to the 10, down to the 5, and diving in for the touchdown is Josh Keys. Taking it 78 yards. They're going to call him for excessive celebration, I think, but no matter. All right, we didn't get the punt block, but we got a 78-yard touchdown return.
That sounds good. Takes a little longer, but that's okay. Chop block.
So it's not going to be a touchdown. I thought it was going to be excessive celebration, but instead they called a chop block, and that nullifies the touchdown. However, the Bulldogs will be in good shape here. So from the spot of the foul, so they're going to spot it right at the 20. So whatever the case, the Bulldogs are in the red zone. A huge penalty that takes away the score. However, you can't knock the return that Josh Keys made just then.
They gave us a 15-yard penalty instead of 10. It happened at the 5-yard line, and they backed it up to the 20. Nobody's caught that yet, but we got penalized 15 yards.
I think a chop block is 15, but I'm not sure at this level. We need to get our stat crew on that, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, whatever the case, Bulldogs in business, 1st and 10 from the 20, leading 14-7. They give up the middle. Anton Thornton down to about the 16. He picked up 4 on first down. 5:38 to go here in the first half. Gulf Coast leading 14-7 and trying to put another one here on the board just before halftime. As they keep the pressure up. But how about that job by Keys going all the way across the field, setting up the wall, and taking it to the house even though the touchdown was nullified. A great job by Keys. Be 2nd and about 6. Low snap. Hatton brings it in over the middle. Pass caught at the 10. And I believe that's DeAdrian Terry. He's going to be close to the first down, and it is DT. It'll be about a yard short, so 3rd and 1 coming up for Gulf Coast. Clock inside 5 minutes of the first half. Here on 103.1 FM, WOSM, and Bulldog Live.
I believe we're going to see the big boys. He's getting them round up over there. Let's see if Steve don't take some players out. Here they come, 4 of them.
Marlon Pope, Frigo, Corderly Gaines. That's the jumbo package on 3rd and 1. Hatton now rolls out. It's got Cade Amaker wide open on the tight end flare. Touchdown Bulldogs. They've run that out of the jumbo package maybe 4 or 5 times since I've been here, and 4 or 5 times they've scored on that. Great job by the Bulldogs.
Well, they watch films on Bulldogs. We don't throw to the tight end. We rarely throw to a slot back or a tight end like that, and there we go, and we got the score. That's a great play.
So Cade Amaker picks up his 2nd touchdown pass of the season. That's the 9th of the year for Clint Hatton. So Stephen Broccoli comes in for his 3rd extra point attempt. It's down, it's up, and it is good. So with 4:22 to go here in the first half, Gulf Coast extends the lead to 21-7 after the 11-yard touchdown pass from Hatton to Cade Amaker on 4th down. So, you know, or on third, that was a 3rd down. They score on 3rd down. So every touchdown so far tonight has been scored out of the jumbo package.
It has. It's been inside the 5-yard line. It's been tight, or at least the 10-yard line. But the Bulldogs doing well, getting to punch it in, even on 4th down. We scored twice on 4th down. So it's keeping focused and going. You know, it's good to see. It's good to have a good guy that can handle the ball, has some strength, and have some guys they can put in there behind him to shove him across the goal line. He scored 2 touchdowns. That was an excellent call play there. I mean, that just had me fooled. I was not expecting that play.
Every once in a while when they line up in jumbo, they do that, Jimmy, and I've seen them do that. Like I said, since I've been here and since they've been running that jumbo package 4 or 5 times, and I want to say those 4 or 5 times they've scored on that. It's terrific sleight of hand when everybody comes up to the line. You swing that tight end out, and they just can't catch up with them. So 4:22 to go. It is. Did he miss the extra point? Or are they just slow putting up the other point? I think he got it. I saw him signal good. Whatever the case, the kickoff by Broccoli down to Jarrett Smith. Smith across the 20 and out to about the 23 where Trey Wofford is waiting for him. So 4:22 to go. And Gulf Coast leading 21-7.
There was Wofford on the stop again. That's 3 stops on 3 kickoffs. I think that the extra point was good. I thought it was good.
Okay. We've been fooled on that before where we thought it was good and we saw somebody say it was good and it wasn't. So I trust our judgment. Okay, that could have something to do with it. If you heard the PA announcer, the scoreboard clock's acting kind of funky, so they're going to keep the time on the field. As if we have another challenge to go with, Jimmy.
That scares me up here. You know, you come into a hostile environment. It's like going into Pearl River. It scares me when these little jinky things happen out here. I don't like this kind of stuff.
The old gremlins in the scoreboard trick. 1st and 10 from the 23. Yeah, they still got it. Yeah, it's basically stuck. And you know what? I think that's the problem. I was looking at it. You see the scoreboard, it says 20-7, but it is 21. I was thinking, okay, maybe something weird happened, but something did happen with the scoreboard. You know how it is, Jimmy. You start getting old, you start questioning yourself. Why does that happen? Well,
you got some years to go, buddy. Wait till you see some of this other stuff. But when you come in here, you need to make sure, and can file this in the back of your mind. Make sure that somebody knows we got that 1 point up there. Because at the end of the 4th quarter, we might need that 1 point up there.
Yeah, you never know. So right about 4:15 to go here in the first half. The give to Ducksworth breaks 1 tackle, but picks up about 2 or 3 yards. Great second effort by Ducksworth that time. Bulldog defense comes in. Kenner Johnson came in, helping out on that play. Ducksworth now 2nd down. We'll get back to that in just a second. That's Bozier catching the screen pass, and he is hammered right at the 25-yard line. Darius Jones in on that to stick Bozier. I was talking about Ducksworth. He's 5'11", 210 from Mount Olive, Mississippi, of course, the home of the late, great Steve McNair. So it'll be 3rd down and right at 5 for Jones. The ball on their own 30. They're down 21-7. Now the scoreboard clock says 2 minutes. They're having some issues over there. 3 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left. Ducksworth in the backfield with Stevens. And the give to Ducksworth. Taking it inside, he's got room. He's got the 1st down across the 40 to the 43-yard line. And a big hole up in that time on the right side. Derek Moncrief in to stop him, but not before Jones moves the chains.
I like the way that kid runs the ball. He runs with authority. He's got a lot of speed. He don't look as big as what it says that he really is, but his impact, he evidently is carrying a load. He's a good back.
Wide receiver split out on 1st down. Stevens throws it out, and the pass is caught, or dropped, rather, right at midfield. Nice pursuit that time by Darius Jones, as they were looking for Jamichael Willis, it'll be 2nd down. I'm going to say there's 2:15 left. How about that? Okay, that sounds good. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Now Stevens going deep, and that pass is way overthrown. They were looking for Bozier, but once again, Darius Jones was down there. Also with Moncrief, they both had steps on Bozier, and it'll be 3rd down coming up. You know, Stevens, for a quote-unquote small guy, really throws the ball well and has really good pocket presence.
We came up here from Van Cleve and watched. We played them in playoffs, you know, but we played them in the playoffs a couple of years ago, and that's when he impressed me of how good a quarterback, all-around quarterback that he was.
So 3rd and 10 after the incompletion. Waning moments of the first half, Gulf Coast leading 21-7. On play action, Stevens throwing it out right. The pass is caught by Bozier at the 45, and that is going to be enough for a Jones first down. Then a little down and out to the right. Jones and Nigel Green got there a little bit too late, and another first down for Jones. And that's the 4th first down of the first half for Jones. Now they give. This is Cohen trying to get the corner, and he does across the 40 down to the 35-yard line. You know, you're kind of wondering, you know, they're moving the ball, but where's the time? I mean, how are we going to know? Do they need to hurry up? Do they need to slow down? This is kind of weird.
I don't have any idea how much time is left. He said a few minutes ago, but we don't know.
2nd and 1 from the 35. They give up the middle. It's Cohen again. Breaks a tackle across the 30 down to the 26-yard line. He bulls his way deeper into Gulf Coast territory. And that's the 5th first down. So Jones is driving in the waning moments of the first half. Let's see what the ref, he's about to say something. Let's see what we got here. So 1:49 to go. I wasn't too far off. Jones trying to answer here just before halftime. 1st and 10 from the 26. They got 2 wideouts to the left, 2 to the right. Ducksworth in the backfield. Play action. Stevens looking right again. He's got his man. That's Bozier. Run out of bounds inside the 20. And a very generous spot. They got him all the way down at the 11. I thought he stepped out of bounds over there before that, right there. But they gave him the 11. I don't know about that. It looked like his foot hit right at about the 17.
This is kind of an interesting drive because nobody has ran the ball the way they're running the ball against this defense all year long, not play after play. And I kind of knew that he was going to try to beat us deep, but has not been the case. They've hit with those little 7-8 yard passes out in the flats, and then they're hitting the ball right off tackle and right off guard. And our guys having a hard time getting him on the ground here late in the second quarter. I don't know if we're a little bit winded right now. They've been on the field for a good little bit, but the Bulldogs have come strong to keep points off the board on defense. But right now, Bill, I'm a little bit nervous about the way they're moving the ball.
Well, I kind of figured their bread and butter was Ruben Ducksworth, and so far he's looked terrific tonight. But you see Ben Stevens, and I'm not going to insult him and call him a game manager because that's not really – he's found his open receivers, and when you hit those kind, that's what Drew Brees does. Now, granted, he hits a lot of big plays when the Saints are winning. That's a different story for a different day. But when the Saints offense is clicking, that's kind of what they do. They mix up the run and the pass, and so far Jones has done it really well, especially on this drive. With about 1:30 to go here in the first half. The scoreboard clock is out, so we can't tell you what the time is. We're just interpolating right now. First down, play action. Now Jones looking left, going deep in the end zone, and that pass is caught for a touchdown, and that's McNair. And I tell you what, Stevens did a beautiful job getting it over the corner's head. Who was that out there? Is that Darius Jones? He got his feet in on the replay, as you can tell, but he dropped that one right in the basket, and Jones is once again within 7 points.
Boy, he did. He put it right where you can only put it when you catch it for a touchdown in the back corner. So it's just, this is what I said, it kind of scares me.
Grant McLaurin in for the extra point. It's up, and it's good. So, last few minutes of the first half, Jones answers with a long touchdown drive of their own. They score from 11 yards out, and it's 21-14. I go back to the games we've played against Jones. We had one blowout, I think, in 2008. But in 2007, both those games were 20-17 ball games. One of them was the state title game in that championship season. 1:15 left. You hear the referee as they're keeping time on the field with some scoreboard malfunctions. But 2009, I think the score was 20-17. 2010, we were here, it was 31-24. Last year, it was 17-10. As we said at the beginning of the broadcast, nothing comes easy when we play these guys.
No, this is a hostile environment when you come in here, even when they come to our place. When we play them, it's just like playing Pearl River. These guys throw the records out the window. There's something about these games that generate a lot of enthusiasm out there on the field with these two teams.
All right, the kickoff now, bobbled at the 5, now picked up by Bingham. Bingham across the 15's got some room. He's sandwiched just across the 20 and to the 22-yard line. So Gulf Coast will have a little over a minute to try to get something going here if they choose to. It looks like the stadium clock is back up and running. It shows 1:06 to go here in the half. If you're just joining us, Clint Hatton ran for 2 touchdowns from a yard out, both of those on 4th and goal to make it 14-0. Jones responded with a Stevens to Ducksworth touchdown as Hatton takes the snap on 1st down. Going over the middle, pass is caught by DeAdrian Terry, and he is nailed at the 40. His helmet comes off, but his head's still on, and that's a Bulldog 1st down. DT trying to walk that off. He got walloped.
Yeah, you got to throw a flag on that. He led straight in and hit him straight in the helmet. It knocked his helmet off. You've got to throw a flag there, and it was not thrown.
1st and 10 after that catch. Now, Hatton out right. Pass is caught and going out of bounds right about at midfield is DeQuill Williams. We're less than a minute to go. DeQuill did a nice job that time, juking one of the players, but especially getting out of bounds. The Bulldogs come to the 50. Clock is running, 41 seconds to go. Play action, Hatton. Pocket collapses. Now he's going deep, looking for DeQuill, and the pass is just overthrown. DeQuill had a step on the corner, but the pass was just a little incomplete. Clint threw it on the run, and that might have taken the touch off just a little bit.
Yeah, he wasn't set. His feet wasn't set in the pocket. He had single coverage. He broke free. He's been striking on those. Those have been touchdowns for us. He overshot him about a yard.
So it'll be 2nd and 10, 33 seconds to go in the first half. Hatton fakes the pass, now tries to run it, caught up in traffic, and brought down for a loss of 1. And I believe I saw Coach Campbell call timeout, and he did. So with 25.3 to go, the Bulldogs will try to regroup. Well, this is when it's in no man's land. It's almost like when it's 4th down and you're trying to decide if you want to go for it or punt. Here's the situation where do you want to try to take a couple of shots at the end zone or you want to shut it down before the second half, and that's what the Bulldogs are going to talk about.
Well, we got 1 timeout left. We got 25 seconds left. We're at midfield. I think we try to get this ball somewhere around the 25, 26-yard line to give us a chance to at least put 3 on the board. I know that Broccoli's got a good leg. His accuracy from a long ways, of course, it's no wind or any weather problems tonight. So give him a chance. We'd like to see him get a chance. But I think probably with it being 3rd down, first thing they're going to try to do here is get a 1st down. They got to get to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, that's what so many teams do in this situation. They panic and want to hit that big play. You got to move the chains before you can get into position to go for the touchdown. A lot of times you try to get too much too quickly. Let's see what the Bulldogs do on 3rd and 11. 28 seconds to go first half. Gulf Coast up by a touchdown. Hatton back to pass. Jones a 4-man rush. Hatton throws it out. The pass is incomplete over on the sideline. Looking for it was DeQuill Williams, and that's going to bring up a 4th down, and they're going to let Pinkerton punt it away. and Gulf Coast will try to prevent a long return and maybe regroup at halftime. Still in good shape, leading 21-14 over Jones. Pinkerton standing on his own 35. Jarrett Smith back deep at his 10. And a nice high kick by Pinkerton. Hits at the 20 and is downed by Dawson Wells at the 25 with 15.3 to go. And the Bulldogs leading 21-14. So barring a miracle here, they'll go in at halftime up by a touchdown. Maybe reeling a little bit, but when you're on the road, you got a touchdown lead. You know, there's room for improvement, but there's nothing to cry about either.
You know, Bill, they get the ball when we come out in the third quarter. We got to kick to them. And we have not been playing a very good third quarter. So this team's got to be circle the wagons. They got to come out in the third quarter and play hard.
Especially last week against Hines. We'll see what happens. They give up the middle of Ducksworth. He'll go nowhere as Jones appears to be just running out the clock, and they will. 8 seconds. And they're just going to let the clock run out down to 3. And that's going to be the last play of the first half. An entertaining first half that saw the Bulldogs up 14-0 and seen Jones come back to make it another MACJC South Division battle with Gulf Coast leading 21-14. Well, as we said, we were up 14-0, and, you know, nothing comes easy in Ellisville. That's pretty much the bottom line, Jimmy.
No, and, you know, this team is for real. This team is, of course, they got some senior supervision now on the sideline that can guide them through some tough times. It's not really that we're playing that bad. We hadn't executed that well on a couple of third downs. We put ourselves in some deep third downs, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, and we're just not geared up for that. We've had a few miscues on our passing game here tonight where Clint's been a little overshooting Williams on the long ball. Those have been catch for touchdowns here lately. So things just a little bumpy here tonight. We hadn't really put this game plan together yet.
So the Bulldogs lead at 21-14. Jones will be getting the ball first to begin the second half. So right now, as some of the bands head on the field, we are going to send it back to Bulldog Live Control and let you listen in on our halftime show. We'll be back a little bit later for the rest of halftime and give you some stats as well. We'll toss it back to Bulldog Live Control for our halftime show. Right, you know, last game of the season, but it's right around the corner. Homecoming's coming up. You know, we got the golf tournament and all kinds of cool stuff. I guess let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, homecoming is going to be amazing this year, as it is every year. We've got tremendous festivities lined up. Excited about the fact that our golf tournament is going to be at Windance Country Club there in Gulfport. Tremendous support with Rick Carter and Tommy Snell had a hand in arranging that. So looking forward to a great outing on that day. The day before homecoming, the night of the 26th, we have our Athletic Hall of Fame banquet that's going to be at the Beau Rivage. So we're looking for a great event there as well. Festivities start at 6 o'clock, and the actual banquet will begin at 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm. So we got that, and that's just the beginning. Then the next day, I believe we have Alumni Hall of Fame, and, oh, yeah, our game against East Central.
That's right. We have to remind everybody that we do have a game to play at homecoming, and an important game it's going to be. We have a tremendous team coming in here that we've got to play well against. So the guys will be ready, but it's going to be a good game.
Mm-hmm. Now, the golf tournament, the Clem Dellenger, they're taking spots for that right now. And, you know, having it at Windance is going to be pretty cool. How can people, you know, get involved with that?
Right. If they'll log on to, of course, they could always call my office, 601-928-6360, or log on to www.mgcccbulldogs.com, and we have a link where you can actually sign up not only to play in the golf tournament, but to also be a hole sponsor. And the whole sponsorships are $100, and you can certainly go about signing up and registering that way as well. So trying to make it as accessible as possible, and we think we're going to have a really good turnout. Each year it has grown, and we try to spread it around different golf courses around the coast, and we've had it up here in Wiggins, and we've had it down on the coast at Shell Landing, and now at Windance, and we like to try to spread the love, if you will, as far as the golf tournament. So tremendous support from all of our alumni on the coast, and looking forward to a good one here at Windance this year. This is our first time being at Windance.
Now, talk about a couple other things. We're always updating our facilities, and the big new thing to talk about is the tennis courts coming up here. That's kind of neat.
Well, as you know, tennis courts on the Perkins campus has been a long time coming. And with the support of Dr. Graham and our Board of Trustees and Dr. Jay Allen, will come to actuality in the spring. We've already met with the engineers, architects, to go over what the tennis court's going to look like. Coach Bourgeois, our tennis coach, is having a big hand in that as far as what he's been to several tennis courts, and just like Coach Snell with golf, he has been in the circuit and been in the game of tennis for a long time, and he knows what he expects, and I appreciate his knowledge. So he's been hands-on in the preparation. So 8 new tennis courts. Complete with a spectator point, with windscreens, with the fencing, with a small locker room for the team. So it's going to be something that we can be very proud of here on the Perkins campus, and our tennis team will not have to drive down to the coast every day to not only practice but to play games. So that is going to be tremendous, and that will kind of complete the circle, if you will, of all of our athletics at Mississippi Gulf Coast being right here home at the Perkins campus.
All over the South, marching bands are tuning up and gearing up to go for the gold at the 13th Annual Gold Medal Classic hosted by Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. On Saturday, October 6th, A.O. May Memorial Stadium comes alive with the South's premier marching band festival and competition. Trophies in 8 different categories are up for grabs, including the coveted Overall Spirit Award. So come join us at Gulf Coast October 6th as we strike up the band at the Gold Medal Classic.
Coming to Ellisville. I told you when you saw him be brought in by security, I told you this.
We've called you Byron James. We've called you Byron Nettles. What are we rolling with this year?
This year I'm going to stick with Byron Nettles, but formerly people know me as Byron James back home, so they'll know me. If by Byron Nettles or Byron James, it wouldn't matter. I'm ready to get at it, you know what I'm saying? We got a good O-line, a good quarterback, and a good offensive coordinator and a head coach. And we got a good defense coming back, and then we got new guys that here to step up this year. We got 4 good running backs that's coming, and we're going to be able to make different changes and different aspects of the game. They'll be able to help us throughout the game. The most exciting part for me is knowing that we got a big season coming up and that the team may rely on me most of the game and having to step up.
I'll call you after a while and try to get on the stage. Bill forgot all the radio equipment for Lewis and Son with one microphone.
Hi, I'm Bill Snyder. Well, in 2012, the Bulldog football team's not only going to play well, they're going to look pretty good too. With that in mind, let's take a look at the 2012 uniform options for Gulf Coast football. The Bulldogs' all-navy look came about in 2006 and has been the team's signature look for home games and for 3 trips to the Mississippi Bowl. In the last 6 seasons, Gulf Coast is 36-3 when wearing this uniform. That includes all 3 of the team's MACJC titles.
I'll holler at you.
The team's familiar white jersey, navy helmet, and pants combination is the signature look on the road, and it serves as a visual reminder of past victories in hostile territories, including the team's 2007 Champs Hot Bowl win over Kilgore that sealed an NJCAA title in 2007. Add in the new white helmets, and you've got Road Dogs 2.0. Gulf Coast broke out this look in 2008 and got a key road win at Pearl River. Since then, the Bulldogs are 7-2 when wearing the all-white uniform, including a road win at Jones in 2009 that sealed another South State title for Gulf Coast. The team's new white helmets will only add to the whiteout mystique in 2012. The Bulldogs' all-new gold look really isn't new. In fact, it serves as a living memory of past Gulf Coast national titles in 1948 and 1971. Combining the gold jerseys and pants with the team's other ensembles now gives the Bulldogs 18 different uniform combinations.
At Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, it's like this. High school graduates can take classes close to home that transfer easily to universities. The convenience and flexibility of online classes give students of all ages the opportunity to earn a degree. Apply online and chat live with an admissions specialist or visit us on Facebook. Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, celebrating academic excellence for 100 years.
We got me and Corvellis. He stepped up as soon as he got here, so we can count on him. And we got Trey Wofford. He's going to be backing up me and Corvellis. And us four, that's going to be the main of the defense. We got a full freshman DB, so we kind of help them, let them know how to do things, and it's going to work. We played in high school together, my junior year, his senior year, and he always gets me ready for the game, tells me like what to expect, because he's played always a year before me. I mean, he gets me prepared for the games and stuff, and we like to play together. It works. The freshmen we got this year, they really stepped up. They surprised all of us. Coach Campbell was always telling us that they got a good group of freshmen, and they showed us as soon as they got here. But yeah, the sophomores doing a good job. Clint's helping the offense, and me and Kill are leading the defense right now.
Welcome back to Ellisville. You see the band of gold on the sidelines serenading the Jones fans with the Frankie Valli Four Seasons song, Can't Take My Eyes Off You. I'm going to let the band of gold take it away here. Sound like a DJ, don't I? How about the band of gold, Jimmy, getting a standing ovation by the Jones fans? They really brought the house down with that. That was kind of fun to watch. They did that last week, too, at Perk, but here in quote-unquote hostile territory did a great job.
I think so. It's very entertaining to come up like that and get real close to the fans and pour on what you got. I see last week we saw Trotter come up in the stands and play a song, you know, the same song right at the very end. I liked the way they came up in the stands at home last week. I thought I've never seen that. I thought that was quite neat.
It was great. The band of gold led by Del Trotter, Sean Cady, and Heather Spicer doing a terrific job, as always, with their halftime show. Well, it's 21-14 here, Gulf Coast over Jones, and we checked some scores earlier, Jimmy. Southern Miss is down at Western Kentucky at last report 42-3, and boy, things are going from bad to worse down the road in Hattiesburg for Coach Ellis Johnson and the Golden Eagles. They were hanging tough with Nebraska for about a quarter and a half, and ever since then, it's been bad for the black and gold of Southern Miss.
You know, how are they going to dig out of that hole? they have. I was told at one time they have 52 sports that are played on the campus there, and football pretty much pays for the majority of those sports. Their television money, their conference money, and things like that. And, you know, you get lesser and lesser TV time when you don't win ball games. They're not going to show you on television. Southern's always been so competitive, you know, in their conference, fighting for the conference title every year, and very entertaining. And they've been, you know, they've had a lot of people pushing, trying to sell season tickets and helping them out there. But when you're not winning ball games and when you're getting blown out like they are, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is there. I don't know. You know, they got 3 freshman quarterbacks. I know that. That's one of your problems right there.
That's true. So we also heard, I think State's having a little trouble with South Alabama as well. Of course, Ole Miss won big today, 39-0 over Tulane down in the Superdome. So, you know what, I was going to talk about Ole Miss a little bit. I think that program, I know they got hammered by Texas, but Texas is a pretty good team. I think Ole Miss is starting to turn the corner as far as being competitive and getting back into, you know, maybe making some noise, you know, in the SEC West, maybe.
I listened to the Bulldog show coming up here talking about Mississippi State, and they were saying the same thing. They really think that Ole Miss is about to turn the corner and to be a competitive team like they have been years back. State's definitely turning the corner. And talking to my wife at halftime here on the phone, she's listening to getting the updates on Twitter on the State game. Not only is it 20-3 only, South Alabama's had it inside the 5 2 more times and didn't score. So it could be a tie ball game right now.
You know, I think that just goes to show in this day and age, there aren't many cupcakes out there for anybody. You know, you see these big schools schedule the non-conference games and people like Louisiana Monroe thinking that's going to be a walk. And instead, you saw what Louisiana Monroe, they beat Arkansas. They went to overtime with Auburn, and last night they almost beat Baylor. So as you hear the Jones Band in the background, they also have a terrific band as well. But there aren't any cupcakes anymore. I mean, very seldom are you going to get a breather in college football. You know, they say any given Sunday in the NFL, it's starting to be any given Saturday in college football.
Yeah, used to the Oklahomas, the Texas, the Nebraskas, those type teams, the Floridas and all, you'd see blowout after blowout after blowout. You're seeing some of these teams, you're saying, who in the world are they? I've never heard of them before. They're putting programs together. They're putting more money into their program. They're doing a better job of recruiting. And I'm like you, everybody's competitive now. There's no pushovers by nobody. You know, the score that I got from Jill a while ago was Auburn 10, LSU 7 at the half. And another hostile environment is, you think going into LSU's hostile? Going to Auburn is hostile too.
Yeah, there's about 95,000 there at Jordan-Hare Stadium. I've been there before for several games, and it is quite loud. And, you know, I was listening to a couple of national syndicated radio shows, and it kills me when these guys just say, okay, yeah, they play the games on paper. And I think what happens is they play the games on paper, and what happens is they just assume, you know, okay, this team's good, they're going to win. You know, it's not like that anymore. Every single week this stuff happens. And unless you're, you know, Joe Lefty Four Fingers from Vegas who wins every bet, you know, it's just not that way anymore.
No, it's not. And with those two teams coming in the conference in the SEC, everybody says, well, Missouri maybe, but, you know, Texas A&M pretty good. Well, they're finding out everybody's pretty good. It's not just – now, the SEC has dominated things, and I will tell you, this is my personal opinion, I think Alabama's the best team in the country right now. But, of course, you're going to get some people like Notre Dame and some of those schools, bigger schools, that are also undefeated. Well, they'll say, well, they hadn't played the same schedule. Well, I think they have. You know, I think they've played competitive teams because all college teams are more competitive today than they were like 10 years ago. So it's a whole different ball game. Is the SEC going to win again this year? If nothing happens to Alabama, I think so. I think they'll win a national championship. I'm not downing LSU, but I don't think, this is my opinion, I don't think LSU has the ball club that they've had in the last 2 or 3 years. That's just my opinion, and that You know, I follow the SEC very, very close. But you got South Carolina, you got Georgia, you got an oncoming Mississippi State. So until you play them all, you really don't know.
You hear in the background, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" by the Jones Band. As nice as that Band of Gold performance is, Jones is equally as nice. I kind of have a sports theme going here. Their dance teams kind of in unit. Anyway, this has been one of the better halftime shows we've seen all year when you bring in our Band of Gold and the Jones Band. Both of them just top quality and terrific halftime performances. And with that in mind, I'll give you some stats from the first half. Of course, Gulf Coast leading 21-14. I don't know which team is which on here. I'm seeing first downs, rushing yards, passing yards, attempts. Anyway, we'll just skip the team ones because I don't know which team is which. Got thrown a curveball there. As far as our team is concerned, Gulf Coast, Byron Nettle, 6 carries for 24 yards. Clint Hatton, 7 carries minus 9, and that comes in on a couple of sacks. For Jones, Ruben Ducksworth, 10 carries for 44 yards. And I'll get you some more stats in a few minutes. We'll go over the scoring summary. We'll do that as well. Of course, Gulf Coast scored in the first quarter 2 one-yard touchdown runs by Clint Hatton. Both of those were in 4th and goal situations, and both of those were via the jumbo package. In the second quarter, Jones responded. First play of the second quarter, as a matter of fact, Ben Stevens to Ruben Ducksworth on a 43-yard touchdown reception, making it 14-7. Gulf Coast answered with 4:22 to go in the first half. An 11-yard touchdown from Clint Hatton to Cade Amaker on a 3rd down and 1 play. Then with 1:15 to go in the second quarter, Jones answered with a touchdown. Ben Stevens to Stefano McNair, 11 yards, and that's where we stand. 21-14, Gulf Coast over Jones. And you know, we talked about it right before halftime started, Jimmy. Okay, let's say, sake of argument, we win this game 28-21. It's going to dictate what happens with some of the other teams as to where the polls shake out next week, and that's what makes it interesting, levels the playing field, I guess, but it makes it tough for a team to stay in the top spot the way these new rankings are.
Yeah, they're going to look at how the top teams played, who they played, how much they beat them by, and that's where they get their points. That's where they get their scores. The computer kicks out all this information that it gathers up by how it thinks that the teams they've played and scored against is done. So if we don't do well here in the second half, a lot better than we've done in this first half, we could very easily not be number 1 next week. So this is a very, to see us go over East Mississippi from 4th to 1 and them down to 4. I know East Mississippi's got a good ball club, so it's kind of shaky. But you know, here the main thing right now is we got to get through this ball game. I know that's what Steve Campbell wants. He wants this win. When I talked to him, I congratulated him about the number 1 ranking, him and his staff, and he said, you know, he just smiled at me and he said, now you know, I've told you many times what I think about this. He said, those count at the end of the year. And he said, we got a long ways to go. He said, this is going to be a very, very hostile game here tonight. And he hit it dead on. But I think, Bill, coming out here, Ducksworth, we got to find a way to stop him. We got to man up on him somehow or another, stop him, because he's about 80% of their offense.
It's true, and you watch him run 5'10", about 210. And last week we saw, I guess you could say, the Bulldogs' defensive line not get exposed, but something on film that another team could take advantage of. We saw Hines run the ball up the middle, especially in the third quarter in the second half of that game, almost at will at times, and that was a concern for defensive coordinator Steve Davis. It was a concern for Coach Campbell, and yeah, he told me as we were doing Bulldog Blitz the other day, he said if they get a consistent running game going, he would be more than a little concerned, and that's kind of what they've done now. The Bulldogs have made some big plays on defense. They've stopped Jones several times on 4th down situations and 3rd down situations, but as the game has gone on, they've gotten a little rhythm to their offense, so We'll see what happens here in the second half. Meanwhile, for Gulf Coast on their side of the ball, trying to move the ball, once again they came out smoking and then kind of leveled off there as halftime came. And as you said, I think it's huge that the Bulldogs have a big third quarter here because they really haven't had one yet so far this season.
We have not. Third quarter's been our bad quarter, and then we kind of put the game back together in the fourth quarter. This team is as energized with senior leadership that they got down there on the sideline, can find a way to move the ball, especially by the ground game. You know, I was talking to Coach Campbell, and I said, we've always had someone in the middle that could anchor that nose tackle position and could handle it pretty well. And he said, well, in the past couple of years, people's been running the score up. Even though we've been winning, they've been scoring a lot of points. So we went out and signed a bunch of cornerbacks. We wanted to get better deep. Well, now we need, he said, it's like, I think he used like the Wizard of Oz or something. He said it's not like, no, he said we can put men on the moon, but we can't figure everything out. That's why we play these games. He said we need Cody right over the center right now, and we'd have the perfect scenario of a defense. He knows that he needs a big guy. We're quick, we're strong, we're just not big. And he said that's hurting our run game against us when they're coming right straight up the middle. We're pretty good on the outside. We're not very good up the middle.
Yeah, you talk about Terrence Cody, John Jenkins after that. You know, there hasn't really been anybody to step up, and we really don't have a huge nose guard like that we've had in the past. Warren Conway filled that role. He's now off the team. Had Dalton Davis in there, a few other players. Well, we'll see how the Bulldogs strategize for the third quarter, which is coming up here in a few minutes. I tell you what, guys, we'll take a 30-second break, and we'll come back and get this second half going with Gulf Coast leading 21-14 here on Bulldog Live and 103.1 FM, WOSM. We'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, so the Bulldogs will be going as we come back to Ellisville. They'll be going right to left here in the third quarter. Jones gets the ball first. Going back deep for the Bobcats is number 10, Roderick Harris. He returns their kickoffs. Also, Jarrett Smith back deep as well. Dylan Bozier back on the far sideline for Jones as we get set to kick this second half off. Stephen Broccoli getting warmed up, ready to boot it away as we get the second half from Ellisville going. Gulf Coast and Jones. Broccoli heads towards the ball, and we are underway here in the third quarter. Gets his leg into it, taking Smith and Harris back deep. It's going to be Harris with Smith in front across the 25 and down to the 27-yard line. Nigel Green down on the stop for Gulf Coast, as well as Barron Miller, number 30. So it'll be 1st and 10, Jones, their first possession of the second half. Ben Stevens at quarterback. Stevens with 2 touchdown passes tonight. He now has 4 on the year. And Stevens standing at 6'2", 195. I think he's going to go on to the next level. He's got that kind of presence. Gulf Coast trying to stop him, though, here. 1st and 10 to give up the middle to Ducksworth. A big run across the 35, all the way out to the 40, but a flag is down, and we got a feeling that might be coming back due to a hold. But that kind of scares you when Ducksworth has that much room to run on first down, holding or not.
Did you see him run that trap? And that's what happened when he came around, when the tackle came around from the other side of the trap. He grabbed him and tackled him, and that made the big gap. But they're trying to run straight at the Bulldogs, and that's a problem we've had. We talked about it at halftime, but that is one problem that defense has had out there.
Good work.
That's the 4th penalty of the night by the Bobcats, and it pushes them all the way back to the 16-yard line. Here in the opening moments of the 3rd quarter. 2 wideouts to the left, 2 to the right. Ducksworth in the backfield with Stevens. Bulldogs in their base defense now. Ducksworth coming right, cuts it back across the 20, across the 25, and taken down at the 30, so they get the penalty yards back and then a couple of more as they basically ran the same play. Not a very auspicious beginning for Bulldog fans.
No, and we talked. We said, you know, this dictates the game, I think, is the enthusiasm of what happens to Jones here in this first possession in the 3rd quarter.
2nd and 10 as Stevens back. Going deep. He's got Bozier down deep, and the pass is caught, and Dylan Bozier will take it to the house. He beat Josh Keys. Touchdown, Jones. We're an extra point away from being tied. Wow.
Well, ours has been missing. We've been about a yard off on our long throws, and that time he got behind the defender and it was wide open, ball thrown right on the fingertips. A great catch, takes it in for the score.
The 3rd touchdown pass of the night for Ben Stevens. He had all day to throw. Bozier had 3 steps on Josh Keys, and Grant McLaurin comes in to kick the extra point. Fireworks early in the 3rd quarter for Jones. It's up. It's good. We're tied 21-21. And you hit it right on the nail on the head, Jimmy. They came out smoking on that drive, first drive of the 3rd quarter.
That's senior leadership down there. You know, he looked at some things. He found out in the 2nd quarter they could run the ball and where they could run it at. Bulldogs had to shift their defense a little bit. I knew sooner or later Stevens was going to go deep. I've watched him quarterback enough to know that he's a deadly quarterback throwing the ball 40, 50 yards down the field.
So that's a 2-play drive, and Jones ties it up, 21-all. So let's see how the Bulldogs, the young Bulldogs, respond. You know, Coach Campbell has talked about playing a complete game and the young guys dealing with adversity. We're going to see how they do here because they're going to be tested. Back deep for Gulf Coast to receive Eli Hughes and Xavier Bingham. They await the kick from Grant McLaurin. We'll see if Gulf Coast can do something with their first possession of the 3rd quarter. It's Bingham taking the ball right on the goal line. Bingham out to the 10, cuts it inside, and is hammered right there as he takes it out to the 16-yard line. That's where Gulf Coast will take over, and the Jones defense trying to get everybody fired up, and this is a crucial possession for Gulf Coast on offense, trying to reestablish the momentum here.
You hit the nail on the head. We've got to move the ball. We've got to answer score for score. This team's fired up. It seems like they've got some things going on offense that they know they can do against the Gulf Coast, but we've got to drive the ball down the field and get some points.
1st and 10, Gulf Coast. Clint Hatton has run for 2 touchdowns and thrown for 1. The first play is an option. The pitch outside to Byron Nettles. He can't go anywhere. Coming up is Devontae Brown, and missing a tackle out there, or rather a block, excuse me, is Tyrone Williams, and it'll be 2nd down and about 15. Yeah, Tyrone missed the block. Devontae Brown came in to make the stop. 2nd and long for Gulf Coast. We're tied at 21. Hatton on play action. Flows it out, and that pass is incomplete. It's overthrown. Stumbling out there is Cade Amaker. He probably wouldn't have gone anywhere anyway, and now it's 3rd and long, and this team looks to be in a bit of a pickle here.
Look kind of sluggish our offense does. Like they're so maybe shocked or unsure of themselves. We got a veteran offensive line, but we just not, I don't know, we don't look the same offense right now.
3rd and 14. Let's see what the Bulldogs can do. Hatton in the shotgun. 2 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right. In the backfield is Thornton. Opening moments of the 2nd half. Gulf Coast and Jones tied at 21. Now the inside draw to Thornton. Thornton takes it out to about the 18-yard line, but that's going to be well short of the 1st down. And the Bulldogs go 3 and out on their first possession. Well, when you're the number 1 team, that target on your back just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what the Bulldogs are facing right now.
if Kahoma came in here ranked #1, it doesn't matter. That's what you got. You got a bullseye on you, but it's always been a tough match between Jones and Gulf Coast.
Same deal here tonight in Ellisville. Zach Pinkerton back to punt. He gets it away, and a beautiful kick. Turns over the spiral. Jarrett Smith takes it at the 38 and is nailed by the gunner, Xavier Bingham. And that's a nice special teams play by the Bulldogs. We do have a flag down way back at the Gulf Coast 20, so let's see what this is about. Did you see anything back there?
Well, it's right at the line of scrimmage, so it's evidently somebody either lined up off sides or somebody wasn't. Let's see what the call's going to be.
Said offsides Gulf Coast. No, that's declined. I think, shouldn't that be encroachment? Can you be offsides on offense? I guess technically you can, but let's see what he's got. All right, so we'll do it all over again. So that wipes out a nice special teams hit by Xavier Bingham as the Bulldogs are offsides. They may have lined up that way, Jimmy.
That's why I was going to say that has to mean somebody's lined up before the play starts. And all you simply do is when the center's set, you look down and find the ball and get behind it. It's real easy.
3 penalties on the night for Gulf Coast, 4 called on Jones. So Pinkerton will kick it away again, this time from his goal line. Jarrett Smith lines up near midfield. Remember, he's already brought one back this season for a touchdown. Gulf Coast and Jones tied at 21, 12:31 to go here in the third quarter in Ellisville. The Bulldogs, the #1 team in the country, facing a stiff test from the Bobcats. Pinkerton awaiting the snap, no pressure, gets it away. Not quite as nice as the last kick, but still pretty good. And Smith makes a fair catch on his own 48, so that was a 52-yard punt. Not nice as far as driving them back, but both of those punts were pretty nice by Pinkerton.
Got some height, throwing them beautiful spirals, get them to turn over, and you get coverage down there. You could do anything but call a fair catch. But, you know, this is about the 3rd or 4th drive they've started at midfield. We hadn't had that luxury. They have, and I think that's part of the difference in the ball game.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden yards there with field position for Jones. They're starting on their own 48, tied at 21. The flare out, breaking one tackle, but brought down is Jamichael Willis. And I don't think he gained anything after the Bulldog pursuit. They did a nice job that time of stringing that play out. Cavellis Luckett started it. Derek Moncrief came in and finished it. It'll be 2nd and 10. Jones and Gulf Coast tied at 21. Stevens looking left, throws a short little pass. The inside slant is caught across midfield at the Gulf Coast 48. Taylor Higginson, that's his first catch of the night. And that'll set up a 3rd and a long 5. We'll call it 6. The ball on the Gulf Coast 47. 11:37 to go, third quarter. We are tied at 21. Ben Stevens, the quarterback, with 3 touchdown passes tonight for Jones. He's got Reuben Ducksworth in the backfield with him. Takes the snap, play action, looking right. Pass is tipped and incomplete, just off the hands of Jamichael Willis. And a good job by the Bulldogs covering Willis. And after the tip, when you see on the replay, that was kind of close to getting picked off. But a 3-and-out by Gulf Coast and a much-needed 3-and-out.
That was about a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, wasn't it? He zipped that ball in there, but a big stand by the Bulldog defense. The Bulldogs are going to get the ball. We hope we get a good return here to get this thing back up the field some.
Grant McLaurin lines up on his own 38 to punt it away. Josh Keys down on the 10. Low snap, scoops it up. Good job by McLaurin to get it away. It'll take a Jones bounce and roll out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Boy, he made something out of nothing that time. Did a little Australian rules football style kick and rolls out right at the 10. That was a nice job.
You know, ever since we started seeing in college football these rugby kind of punts, I guess is what you call them, I personally don't care a lot about them. But what happened to the old rule about linemen downfield? Now, did they do away with that rule? Because when I played ball, you could only send your gunners down until the ball was punted. Those rugby punters, you got most everybody downfield by the time he kicks them.
11-12 to go here in the third quarter. The Bulldogs 1st and 10 from their own 10. And up the middle, I believe that's Thornton, and he might have gotten a yard, but there is very little room to run up the middle on this Jones defense. So it'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the 10. The Bulldogs got to go 90 yards to get back on the scoreboard and try to regain the lead. They led 14-0. Now we're tied 21-21. Thornton remains in the game in the backfield with Hatton, 2 wideouts to the right. He takes the snap. Now on the rollout, Hatton looking for DeQuil Williams, and he's got him. He's run out of bounds just across the 20 at about the 21, and that's going to be close to a Bulldog first down. Just a little rollout. Hatton does a nice job on the run, getting it out to DeQuil, and that is a Gulf Coast first down.
I like the way he moves the pocket. I like the way he sprinted out that time. That was a good, crisp throw. First down for the Bulldogs.
A much-needed first down as they move the chains at the 20. Play action, Hatton going deep. Got Williams over near the far sideline, and it looks like he got hammered, but not before he makes another big catch. And a Bulldog first down. We'll take a look at it here on the replay. He had some pressure, but that defender fell down. You'll see the catch by Williams. And right there, a lick. And I don't know, it looks like he may have hurt his leg there. I thought it was out his head, but it wasn't. As you see DeQuil over on the sideline, Danny Anderson and the training staff checking on him. Hopefully that's not a bad injury, but it looked like his leg pulled up there.
Yeah, at first I thought he got maybe a thumb in the eye or something like that, the way he went down, but it did, the way he twisted. He's up and moving around. He's kind of hobbling, so it was something to do with his leg, his knee, ankle, or something.
He picked up 22, and it's 1st and 10, and Anton Thornton carries on first down and maybe picked up a yard. Once again, trying to go up the middle, and not much business there. 9:38 to go. Third quarter, tied at 21. Gulf Coast and Jones here on Bulldog Live and 103.1 FM WOSM. We'll keep an eye on Williams and see if he gets back in the game. Right now the wideouts are Tyrone Williams and DeAdrian Terry. Second and officially 11. Now on the sweep, our first look at JoJo Snell tonight. Snell tries to turn a corner, and he can't. Snell may have picked up a couple yards that time. It'll be 3rd down as they tried that sweep play and letting Snell have his speed, but good pursuit that time by Jones.
We've tried every running play that I've seen us run this year, and I have to hand it to this Jones front. They've stopped just about every running play we've tried.
3rd and 9. The ball at the 43. DeQuil Williams back in. He's in the slot to the right. 2 wideouts to the left. Thornton in the backfield. Moves up besides Hatton. And Hatton takes a snap. He's under pressure. Collapses the pocket. He's going to run to the 45. Cuts it across the 50. And into Jones territory. Out of bounds. And that'll be a Bulldog first down. So a nice improvisation by Hatton. The pocket collapsed. He did the business himself, and that's a Bulldog first down.
Boy, that was a sophomore move. You could tell there. The rush forced him out. He got outside. He took it, got everything he could get, got past the first down marker. So you just tip your hat to him right there. He did that on his own effort.
8:06 to go, third quarter, tied at 21. 3 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left. Thornton still in the backfield. Hatton throws it out, and that pass is intercepted, I believe, by Jones. They were trying to get Tyrone Williams on the inside screen, and DeMonte Barnett jumped the route. That's all that happened. Barnett saw it coming.
He did. He saw it coming. It's a slant inside. He jumped the route. picked it off at the 46-yard line. We were driving the ball, just right fresh off a first down. Just a great defensive play by Jones.
Devontae Barnett, a 6'1", 188-pound sophomore from West Jones. That's our first turnover of the game. And Jones gets the ball on their own 46, tied with Gulf Coast at 21. Now it's Ducksworth breaking it outside across the 50 down to the 48-yard line. With a pickup of about 6 on first down. You see Ducksworth, they've gone to the right plenty in this game. He breaks a tackle, cuts it back in, and Jones is back in Gulf Coast territory with a 2nd and 5 coming up.
Yeah, field position's been the whole name of the game in the second and as we begin the third quarter.
Stevens now under shotgun. Just a straight run play up the middle to Ducksworth out to the 45 of Gulf Coast. It'll bring up 3rd and short coming up with 7:20 to go. Third quarter tied at 21. A little dicey here, Jimmy.
Well, they found out that we're not as tough up the middle as what we have made everybody think we are.
Big play here, 3rd and 1 in the eye. Ducksworth up the middle. Second effort, probably got a first down, and I believe he did. Bulldogs had decent penetration that time, but Ducksworth will move the chains. The 10th first down of the game by the Bobcats. They're in the eye once again with 2 wideouts to the left. Stevens under center. The pitch to Ducksworth. Cuts it inside down to about the 41. He'll pick up 2 that time for Barron Miller. One with Whitney Richardson in on the stop, bringing up a 2nd down. And this is the point in the ball game where somebody on the Bulldog defense has to step up and make a play.
Well, they're going to have to, and they have to do it out of this I formation. He's strictly set that I'm going to run the football, and I think I can run the football, and you can't stop me. So somebody's got to step up and stop this run.
You've seen Gulf Coast do it so many times to other teams. Now Jones is trying to pull that on the Bulldogs. 2nd and 9. Cohen in motion to the right. Stevens drops back, going over the middle. The pass is incomplete. Good play by Derek Moncrief. For a moment, Stevens had Bozier open, but Moncrief came in to knock it away, and that'll bring up a 3rd and long. Good recovery by Moncrief.
It was a good recovery, good knockdown. It's going to force them into 3rd and long inside Bulldog territory at the 40. Well, he just kicked it back to the 42-yard line.
6 minutes to go, third quarter. We're tied at 21. The number 1 team in the nation in a dog and cat fight here against the Jones Bobcats. Stevens this time out of the shotgun, throws it left. Pass is caught over on the right sideline, and that is going to be a Jones first down to Taylor Higginson. His 2nd catch of the night will move the chains for the Bobcats, and right now the Jones offense is totally insane.
You can do a lot of things different whenever you start at midfield, and that's what they've been getting to do, but they are executing well. The run game's been pretty good for him. He's been on target on those 7- and 8-yard passes.
From the 31, it's 1st and 10 Jones. They're driving on the Bulldogs. 5:40 to go, third quarter. The pitch to Cohen. Cohen trying to get the corner, and he can, to the 30, to the 20, down to the 10, breaks a tackle. That's going to be a Jones touchdown and a horse collar to boot, I believe. Unless there was a hold at the end of the play, I think that play is going to stand, but let's see. Perhaps there was a hold, and that'll nullify the touchdown. Let's see what we got on the replay, Jimmy.
I think it's going to be a horse collar, like you said. I believe he got him around right there. I believe he got him around the neck, and they call that tackling above the shoulder pad. Face mask. They just signaled it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's a 31-yard touchdown run by Khalif Cohen. So there you have it, a 31-yard touchdown by Khalif Cohen. Puts Jones in front for the first time this evening. In for the extra point is Grant McLaurin. Stevens to hold, snap is down, kick is up, and it is right through. So with 5:29 to go in the third quarter, Jones has scored 14 unanswered. Actually, that's 21 unanswered because we were up 21-7. They've scored 21 answered points here and have taken the lead and made this more than just a football game.
Well, I think they watched that Hines film and saw how Hines got in the ball game last week, and it was running the ball right at the Bulldogs' middle part of the defensive line, and that's opening up some of these play-action passes. We've had some missed tackles, but, you know, letting them start at midfield, that's got a lot to do with it, Bill. You're setting a whole different offensive scheme when you're at the midfield stripe than you are when you're back at your 10, 15, 20-yard line.
So the Bulldogs led 21-7 at one point in the second quarter. Since then, 21 unanswered by Jones puts them in front. And for the first time this year, the Bulldogs are behind. Taking the kick at the 10 is Eli Hughes. Eli out to the 15, across the 20 to the 25. And he's finally wrestled down and pushed out of bounds right there. He'll give him forward progress to about the 21, some jawing over there on the far sideline. And now the Bulldogs, straight up, they got to get fired up here.
Well, that was a late hit. I think you'll see it if we get to see it on the replay. That was a late hit out of bounds. I think everybody wanted a flag over there. Maybe this will fire them up. You can see him taking the ball on the replay. Turns, spins, comes back inside, gets hit. They stop. They're still over there huddled up. They hadn't called anything yet, but see how out of bounds he was hit? He was hit way out of bounds. Should have been a flag.
Adding insult to injury there, I think he lost about 4 yards after his forward progress. So with 5:17 to go here in the third quarter, the Bulldogs in a little bit of a quandary. Jones leading 28-21. And this is the first time Gulf Coast has been behind all year. Let's see how they respond. This is true adversity. 1st and 10 from the 24. They give to JoJo Snell. Snell cuts it outside, gets the sideline and run out of bounds, and that'll get 15 more as you see the flags fly. Snell will get the first down, and they'll tack on 15 as Jones gets a little reckless over on the other side.
Well, it's time for that to happen because we saw now there's a flag in the backfield over at the Gulf Coast side. So there's 3 flags laying there.
You see the speed of JoJo Snell. It could be just what the doctor ordered here to get the Bulldog running game going. Let's see what we got here. Here comes the call.
Personal foul, number 6 for the defense, for late hit, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And after the late hit, that moves the ball all the way out to the 47-yard line. 1st and 10, Gulf Coast. They're trying to answer after Jones has put up 21 unanswered on the number 1 team in the country. Hatton takes the snap on play action. He rolls to his right. Got a man open. Caught by Tyrone Williams at the 35, and that's another Bulldog first down. And now we're starting to see some swagger from the Bulldog offense.
Boy, we had the other Williams one-on-one, broke free, and if he'd have saw him, it would have been a touchdown. He had him beat 5 yards.
But it wasn't a bad play. Nonetheless, 1st and 10 from the Jones 35, 4:53 to go third quarter. They give up the middle to Snell, and he is hammered. Before he gets to the line of scrimmage, Marion Chapman shot the gap and put the clamps on Snell. It'll be 2nd down. That'll be a loss of a couple. You hear that banging. That's offensive coordinator Chad Huff voicing his displeasure. 4:28 to go. Gulf Coast down 28-21. 2 wideouts to the right, 2 to the left. Anton Thornton now in the backfield. Hatton, low snap. He takes it. Tries to find somebody to throw to. Can't. And he is sacked all the way back at the 49-yard line. Great pursuit that time by Jamarcus Blanks and the Jones defense And that's going to bring up third and very long. I think he may have held onto the ball a little too long that time.
He did. You're right, Bill. That's one of those timing routes where you got to turn loose of the ball. If it's not there, just throw it over his head and get it done. But look at the yardage we lost now. We're looking at third and about, 25 to go.
All the way back at the Jones 48. They got to get to the 35 for a first down, so it's third and about 17. Now, Hatton throws it out. The pass is caught out of the backfield by Thornton, but he is well short of the first down. In fact, that'll bring up fourth and about 15, so they picked up 8 or 9 on that play. And that brings in Pinkerton once again on the punt. So it looked like we had some momentum going on offense, but Jones slams the door, and they clearly have the momentum going with 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Pinkerton standing on his own 45. Waiting to kick is Jarrett Smith on his 10. Another good punt by Pinkerton. Smith calling for the fair catch and bobbles it right there at the 21. There is a scramble for it, but Jones retains possession. And that was a dangerous catch by Jarrett Smith. As you see, there's a bit of a sheen on the field. That dew is starting to come in, and it looks like he slipped a little bit.
It did, and we had an opportunity to get one, but it didn't roll far enough away from him. That would have been a great turnover for us. But now Jones has got to start from the 20-yard line. So let's see if our defense can stiffen up, and we get a field position change here where we don't have to start from our own 10, and maybe we can start from midfield.
2:46 to go. Third quarter, Jones leading 28-21. They've scored 21 unanswered points on the number 1 ranked Bulldogs. Ben Stevens at quarterback, under center. Jones in the I formation with a couple of wideouts split to the left. On play action, first down, little wheel route, and the pass is almost picked off. Josh Keys had it, but he couldn't bring it in. They had Ducksworth on a wheel route. Keys read it perfectly. Dawson Wells was out there as well. It'll be second down just off of Keys' fingertips.
I thought we had a pick. He had an opportunity. He timed it just right. When he went up, he didn't come down with the ball.
Good reaction by Keys. It'll be second and 10. Jones is just lining up in the eye and doing their thing right now. Let's see if the Bulldog defense can respond. Made a nice play there. Now they give up the middle. I believe that's Cohen, and he may have gotten a yard. Travis Taylor in with Warren Conway that time to stop him. Third down coming up. And for Brandon Keel in there as well. And one of the first times here in the third quarter, the Bulldog defense stifles up the middle.
That's one spot we are tough. The area right there where Travis is and Keel comes in behind him, that we're strong there. Where they've been getting the yardage is right up the middle and off the right side of their offense.
Third and 10. Now Stevens in the shotgun. Wideout split. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Cohen in the backfield. Stevens back, going to his right. Pass is caught for a first down, and going out of bounds just short of the 40 is B. Garvin. Bree Gavin brings it in, and that's another Jones first down. Just found a soft spot in the zone, and Jones moves the chains. 1:55 to go, third quarter. Another first down for the Bobcats. They give to Cohen up the middle, taking it across the 40 to about the 43, and that pickup is about 3 for Khalif Cohen.
Well, again, they tried the dive play off the left side, the left offensive side, and again, that's where our strength is, and we did a pretty good job there.
He's second and right around 6. Stevens in the shotgun, plenty of time. He short hops it to the left, and that'll be a third down. He was looking for Roderick Harris. Over there to make sure it would go nowhere was Kenner Johnson. And that's really the first bad pass we've seen Stevens throw tonight.
Well, and you may have hit the nail on the head talking about that dampness on the field out there. By the time the ball was snapped to him, it may have slipped out of his hands.
Third and 7. Now some movement on the line. I believe one of the Jones linemen moved. Ben Bennison, the right tackle, looked like he moved a little early, and that's going to push Jones back 5. 1:27 to go, third quarter. Jones leading 28-21. Bulldogs trying to get a stop and make this an exciting fourth quarter. 3rd and 7 from the Jones 37-yard line. Stevens in the shotgun, triples out to the right. He gives up the middle to Cohen. Cohen breaks one tackle but can't get past the second wave. Sherman Boyd, Cavellis Luckett, and Dawson Wells there to make sure Cohen would go no further, and Jones will have to punt. And considering the situation, that's a pretty big stop.
It is after the pass play they had for the first down, and they can make a punt it away at the 41-yard line. If we can get a decent return right here and get the ball back up to around the 40, our offense can get out there and have some room to work with.
Grant McLaurin standing at his own 26, about to punt it away. Josh Keys back on his own 24-yard line. Some pressure up the middle, but McLaurin gets it away. Rolls inside the 30 and keeps rolling down to about the 19-yard line, so that's where Gulf Coast will start. Eli Hughes had some pressure on McLaurin, but he was able to get the punt away. And Gulf Coast will start 81 yards away from a potential game-tying score. And they had some momentum on that last drive, and then it just stalled right after we got across midfield.
You know, that was a smart move. The Hughes, you know, he was going to get a roughing penalty. I don't think he was going to get to the ball. He almost got there, but that was a smart move, him pulling up. Yeah, we're starting from the 19. Let's see if we can't get something going and keep it going.
At one point, Gulf Coast led 21-7. Now they're down 28-21. 1st and 10 on the quarterback draw. Clint Hatton takes it out to about the 25 and pick up 6 on 1st down in the waning moments here of the 3rd quarter. Bulldogs looks like they're going to try to get one more play off before the quarter ends, and they will. Hatton takes the snap, gives up the middle. That's Snell out to the 30. And that's going to be enough for a Bulldog 1st down. Boy, Snell is quick. Just shot through that hole and picked up yardage.
You know, it looked more like our running game. That's the type running game the Bulldogs are used to right there. Quick hits, quick holes, and taking it ahead for 5 or 6 yards in the 1st down.
Time running out here in the 3rd quarter. The clock down to 1, and that will be the last play of the 3rd quarter. Another rough one for the Bulldogs as Jones takes a 28-21 lead on the #1 ranked Bulldogs. We've got 15 minutes to go from Ellisville. Jones leads it 28-21. We'll take a 30-second commercial break and come back with the 4th quarter action here on Bulldog Live and 103.1 FM WOSM.
KCCC has a ticket grant for a special bottle ship recycling events to be used in athletic events. Tickets to replace your bottles and cans and loose bins, which are located throughout the stadium. Your participation will help the college meet its recycling goals. Thank you for supporting recycling and the Eco Bobcats.
Welcome back to Ellisville, Mississippi. Bill Snyder with Jimmy Davis. A potential upset here? We'll have to see. 4th quarter begins with Gulf Coast down 28-21. The Bulldogs currently the #1 team in the NJCAA. Clint Hatton will go nowhere on 1st down. Nice pursuit that time by Chavez Sims. Tried to do the keeper, and Sims would have none of it. And that'll bring up 2nd and about 15.
5-yard loss. 2nd and 15 for the Bulldogs.
Hatton now with 2 running backs behind him, 2 wideouts to the left. He fakes it up the middle, gives the pitch to Snell's, got some blocks, gets the corner across the 35 and run out of bounds right before he got to the 40, but a nice run by Snell, picking up a lot of that yardage back. Run out of bounds at the 39, so it'll be 3rd and right about 3 or 4. 2 wideouts to the left. Let's see what the Bulldogs do here in the opening moments of the fourth quarter. Play action to Thornton. Hatton going deep's got a man down there, and overthrown is Snell. He had him on the wheel route, but the pass was a little too high.
Well, we had a touchdown right there, and he was a good 5 yards overthrew him. And again, that's where we've been hitting on touchdowns. We hadn't been missing those plays right there, and that one was set up beautiful. He catch it and just waltz in for a touchdown. Nobody was over there by him, and we overthrew him about 5 yards.
So with 4th and 3 from the 38, once again Gulf Coast will have to punt. Pinkerton standing on his own 25. And it looks like the Bulldogs will have to call a timeout as one of the special teams players came in late. That's Darius Jones. So they'll have to burn a timeout. Let's hope that doesn't come back to haunt us later on. They have 2 timeouts left. So 13:58 to go in the ball game in regulation. Jones leading 28-21. Boy, you'd like to have that pass back with Clint Hatton. He's been, as we've said, brutally efficient so far this year, but he missed a couple tonight. But you know what? You don't blame it on – this is a team effort all the way around. You know, maybe it's the pressure of being number one, the pressure of being on the road, the pressure with all these freshmen. But right now, the Bulldogs, this is a major gut check for this team.
It is, Bill. You know, when you put like in baseball, when you put your ace out there and he has a bad game, it's a team sport. You can't just point the finger at him. He's missed on a few, and they got to circle the wagon and get out there and make this thing happen.
Yeah, you can't really blame him. He's run for 2 touchdowns and scored one as Pinkerton gets off another nice punt. And that's going to hit at the 20 and take a big Gulf Coast bounce, and it will stop inside the 5 at the 2. Great job by Zach Pinkerton. He got that one to turn over, and now Jones is in the shadow of their own goalpost. They'll have to go 98 yards. Great job by the Bulldog special teams.
That was about 58 yards time you add the roll to it on the punt. And that's where you need them to start. We've been having to dig ourselves out of a hole. Let's see what they can do where their offense backed up to their own wall.
This is where the defense has to smell an opportunity, a chance to maybe get a cheap one here. 13:44 to go, and Jones leading 28-21. Stevens in his own end zone. They're going to give up the middle to Ducksworth. Breaks through out to about the 10. Still on his feet. Broke about 4 tackles to the 13-yard line, and that is going to be, I believe, very close to the first down. And they're probably going to measure this, and you hate that. You pin them back that far, and Ducksworth breaks through. 2 or 3 missed tackles that time, Jimmy.
It was missed tackles, and that, you know, that again, that spot where we've talked about a dozen times, that is going to be a first down. That spot right off the guard spot right next to the center where, for some reason, Gulf Coast all season has had problems stopping teams right there.
All right, so Jones moves it out to the 13. They picked up exactly 10 yards, 1st and 10. 3 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left. They give up the middle again to Ducksworth. Big hole across the 20, out to the 23. And right now, Jones is running at will on the Bulldogs defense.
Well, we're going to have to get some guys out and get some more guys in. But that, again, there was no difference in those plays. A dive play straight ahead, nothing fancy. And it's going to be close to a first down. They're going to measure it.
Ducksworth picked up 10 on the first run. He picked up close to 10 this time, and it is a Jones first down. They have 15 first downs by my count this evening. Gulf Coast has 8. 13 minutes to go in regulation. Jones leads by a touchdown. They give again to Ducksworth. This time, he might have picked up a couple of yards. Sherman Boyd, Dawson Wells in there to clog up the middle. Warren Conway as well. And that'll bring up 2nd down. And you're seeing I don't even think it's the old school philosophy of Ray Perkins, but this guy, this ain't his first rodeo, you know? And you see the poise of this team, you know. I don't think he talked this game up. He just told the guys, go out and do what you can do. So on second down, this time it's Khalif Cohen. Flag on the play as Cohen tries to turn the corner, and the Bulldogs are waiting for him. Moncrief in on a tackle over there. Let's see what the flag is about. I think somebody might have jumped earlier. There might have been a hold right there at the bottom of the screen as you look at the replay. Brandon Keel in on that as well. But we'll see what the flag is about. What do you think?
Well, there have been a lot of flags. This is going to be either defense offsides or somebody moved right at the snap. I believe it's against Gulf Coast. We had to line up offsides if that's it. I believe that's the case, is it not? They're pointing toward Gulf Coast. They are.
And they'll mark off 5. It looks like it's going to be offsides on the Bulldogs.
Offside. On the defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay second half.
Fourth penalty of the game on Gulf Coast. Moves it up 5, 12:32 to go. And you're seeing what Gulf Coast does to teams when they get a lead. Jones is doing it right now. It's 2nd and 2 after the penalty. Ball just across the Jones 30 at the 31. They're lined up in the I. I bet this is going to be a run. And it is. That's Cohen picking up about 2. I don't know if he got enough on the first down. He looks like he's to be about a yard short as the Bulldogs clogged up the middle. Trey Wofford, Warren Conway in with Dawson Wells. And he is short by a yard, so it's 3rd and 1. Big play here, 12:05 to go, 4th quarter. Jones leading 28-21. Once again in the I, the pro set, Stevens under center. Takes the snap, gives to Cohen, and he is hammered at the line. Don't know if he got the forward progress or not. Let's see where they spot it. The Bulldogs had some good penetration. Travis Taylor in on that. Finished Armstrong. And I believe he's coming up short. They'll probably measure it. But the way it's been going so far, wouldn't surprise me if the spot got him the first down. They're bringing out the chains.
I believe he's got it. I believe he's got it by about a half a football length. But we'll see. I thought they hit him right at the line of scrimmage, and that was it. But we've been getting some pretty tough spots.
He not only got it, he got it by a yard. So another one by Jones, and that keeps the clock running. 11:47 to go, 4th quarter. We got a situation developing here with the #1 team in the country in trouble at Jones, down by a touchdown. From the 34, Jones in the I once again. They've done this almost predominantly here in the second half, and it's worked. Now on play action, Stevens trying to hit the home run, going deep's got a man down there. It's caught by Higgison. Higgison taking it to the house. Touchdown, Jones.
Well, that's just the strength of Stevens' arm. That's the thing that you normally see us do. We hadn't been able to do it here tonight, and I told you this kid can throw the ball. I've seen him throw it. He's a very accurate, long-distance passer. He has to throw with his feet still out of the pocket. You give him time to do it. He's accurate, and he's dead on right there.
66 yards from Ben Stevens to Taylor Higgison, and with the extra point, Jones will be up 14. Grant McLaurin in to kick it away. The snap is down, the kick is up, and it is good. Gulf Coast now in big trouble here in Ellisville. 11:27 to go. 35-21, Jones leads. And they are fired up here on the near sideline. That's 4 touchdown passes for Ben Stevens tonight. And this is where youth becomes tough.
You know, when that team got down, they really didn't know how to react to it. And when they started moving the ball on them and then started scoring on them. That's something that nobody's done. And that kind of put them in a second area that they hadn't been used to, and you see the youth coming out of this ball club right now. We knew somewhere it was going to happen. We just hope it wasn't going to happen like this.
The Bulldogs now down by 2 touchdowns. Now, there's no doubt they have the firepower to answer, but they haven't done it here in the second half as Xavier Bingham takes the kickoff out to the 20, and he's pulled down at the 15, and everything that can go wrong for Gulf Coast is going wrong right now, facing easily the most adversity they've faced all year as Jones has put up 28 unanswered and are up 35-21. So let's see what Clint Hatton, the Quill Williams, and that Bulldog offensive line can do. Major gut check time here. Got to suck it up.
You know, you don't know what happens to a team like this too, Bill, when you got that many freshmen on there whenever they're down like this. They need to have something good happen to them right here. Time's going to run out on them if they don't start moving the football.
11:20 to go, 1st and 10 from the 16. Hatton going deep. Got a man down there, and the pass is just overthrown. He took a shot at Tyrone Williams, but going step for step with him out there for Jones is Michael McLaurin. And once again, that pass just a little bit off, so it'll be 2nd and 10. But I like the play call, though. Why not take a shot?
I do, too. I like, you know, you need points quick.
This is where these young wide receivers have to step up. See if Hatton can get it to him. 2nd and 10. The quick out to Williams on the sideline, knocked out of bounds at the 20. So he'll pick up 4. It'll be 3rd and 6. It had to be tough for Williams. He went deep on that last play and then had to come over here and took a pretty hard hit by McLaurin. 11:02 to go, 35-21. Jones leading the #1 team in the nation, Gulf Coast. And the Bulldogs will be facing a 3rd and 6 from their own 20. Hatton's got Snell in the backfield, 2 wideouts to the left and 2 to the right.
You know, the time is running off the clock. We're throwing different balls. Look at this. Look at this official. We've had 3 balls thrown out there. They did finally stop the clock.
Actually, more time ran off. He said 10:55, didn't he? What is that about? They're out there playing hot potato with the football and time's running out. You can't do that. Wow. Coach Campbell, I saw him throw up his hands over there. All right, so it'll be 3rd and 6. Hatton in the gun. JoJo Snell in the backfield. Bulldogs need a big play here. Now you just got to move the chains and get something going, first of all. Hatton takes the snap on play action, scrambles around, is in trouble, running for his life, now drifts left. He's got room out there, decides to run it, cuts it across the 35 or 25 and down to about the 27. In the area of the first down, but let's see where they spot it. And if it's a spot that we've been getting all night, I think he's probably going to be a little bit short. I don't know. It's hard to tell over there, Jimmy.
It looks like we got it. From here for this, but we're at a kind of an angle. It looks like we got enough for a first down, and we do.
It is a first down, so Hatton scrambles out of trouble and keeps this thing going for the Bulldogs. And this is where poise has to come in for Hatton. So far he's had it all season. He and the Bulldog offense have to get something going here in a hurry. 10:18 to go. They're down 35-21. Not an insurmountable lead by any means. We saw that last week with Hines. We had another clock reset, and now we got 6 seconds back. Okay. I'm just going to say we'll take it. 1st and 10. Ball just across the 25. Bulldogs trying to get something going, down by 14. The draw play up the middle. The fake on the option. Snell has it across the 30, across the 35, out to the 43-yard line. And the first big run of the second half by JoJo Snell. And it's a good thing Hatton pitched that because he got clobbered in the backfield.
He's shaking up right now. His right shoulder, he's kind of numb right now. You see him holding that arm down. He really took a hit right after he pitched the football. A good run by Snell for the first down, but I don't know if Hatton can throw one deep right now.
Back-to-back first downs for the Bulldogs, and said that in a while. Now the give up the middle, this time on the draw. I believe that's Thornton taking it out to the 47-yard line, and a nice solid run on first down by the Bulldogs, gaining 5, but now the clock is inside 10 minutes, 9:48 to go.
Top line number 7 of the Bobcats, Sims, and number 92 to Marcus Williams. 2nd and 4 for the Bulldogs.
That was a pickup of 6 by Thornton. 2nd and 4 from the 48. Gulf Coast down by 14. Snell in motion again. They give it up the middle, and Thornton goes nowhere. The timing messed up on a low snap that time. James Anthony shoots in and makes a big stop on Thornton, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
You know, I've wondered this about 6 or 8 times we've had snaps almost roll back there to him. We hadn't changed centers, I don't believe, have we? The same center that we went with the entire season, I believe.
Check on that. 3rd and 6. Need a big play here. Hatton back to pass. Pocket collapses. He tries to run it and fumbles it away. I think he was trying to do a shovel pass, but they're calling it a fumble, and Jones recovers. An ill-advised play by Hatton. He was trying to get rid of it. He tried to do a Drew Brees there, but they called it a fumble, and Jones takes over. The 2nd turnover of the night by the Bulldogs. That's a killer.
I was watching a replay. It was definitely a pass. He did try to throw the ball, but they called it a fumble. You know, if we had replay, you could go back and you could overrule this. There is no replay in JUCO, so Jones is going to get the ball on their own 44.
Whatever the case, you credit him for trying to make a play, but in that situation, you just take the loss. Whatever the case, 1st and 10, Jones takes over from their own 44 on first down. Ducksworth is hammered in the backfield by Travis Taylor, and it is more than imperative that the Bulldogs get a stop here. Down by 14 and 8:38 to go in the contest. Jones in no particular hurry. They got a 14-point lead and momentum. Now Cohen comes in for Ducksworth. With Stevens in the shotgun. Kind of weird they're in the gun here as they give to Cohen, who breaks a couple of tackles across the 45, still on his feet before his forward progress is brought down. And it took 4 or 5 guys to bring down the small but strong Khalif Cohen, 5'11", 187 pounds from Foley.
They must have fed them some gunpowder at their pregame meal before this, because every player out there for Jones is playing, I would say, way above the level of play.
3rd and about 7 for Jones. Clock inside 8 minutes. They're taking their own sweet time here as the clock continues to tick away. Bulldog Band of Gold trying to disrupt the rhythm. And now flags will fly as it looks like one of the Jones players jumped. And it took them 5 seconds to whistle stop the clock. 7th penalty of the night on the Bobcats. And with the exception of 3 or 4 false start penalties, they've been pretty close to being mistake-free.
They have. They've played a game way above their level of play, I think, from what teams they've played and the teams that have beat them.
You play somebody that many times and you beat them 8 times in a row, you know they're going to be out for blood. 3rd and 12. Now the run up the middle, breaking out of the pack is Cohen. He runs out of bounds at midfield, and he is going to be short, I believe, of the first down. They marked him out at the 49, and he will be short. And the good news is that stops the clock with 7:04 to go. And you would think the Bobcats have no problem punting it away. 7 minutes, the clock is running. Why is it running? They stepped out of bounds. Is this a little home cooking here?
Well, he definitely ran out of bounds and was not tackled. So it wasn't one of those deals where his progress was stopped. And now the clock continues to run at 6:40. I do not understand.
McLaurin, and now a flag comes in. Is that going to be a delay of game?
Well, that guy back there is supposed to throw. Let's see what he says, Bill.
Did he just do a holding signal on delay of game? It looked like that's what he did. Is that what he did? That's all we need. Okay, 35-21, Jones leading, 6:32 to go, fourth quarter. McLaurin goes 5 yards back and will be punting on his own 31. I'd send the house to block this. McLaurin gets it away, sets up a return, and Josh takes it in at the 30 to the 35's, got some room, and then is smothered over at about the 35-yard line. And that's where Gulf Coast will set up, and now a late flag comes in. Some extracurricular activities at the end of the play, and we'll see what that's about. What did you see, Jimmy?
I didn't see it, but he pointed at a Gulf Coast player. He was pointing at one of the guys that was going off the field from Gulf Coast. I didn't see anything happen over there. I don't know.
Yeah, its preliminary signal is personal foul on the Bulldogs. And the ball goes all the way back to the 20. Going from bad to worse here, and you always wonder how the freshmen are going to handle adversity. They held off Hines last week, came out strong here, but since then, 28 unanswered by Hines. 6:19 to go. Let's see if Gulf Coast has a comeback in them. They're down by 14. Hatton takes the snap, throws it out, pass is caught at the 25, and run out of bounds on the far sideline. DeQuil Williams. He gets out of bounds, and at least that stops the clock with 6:11 to go. It'll be second and right around 5.
Well, the clock's starting again, and he was knocked out of bounds.
Wow. Don't get it. Hatton again going to Williams over on the sideline. He's out of bounds, and that's a Bulldog first down. So back-to-back passes to Williams. They're playing soft coverage on him, respecting his speed, and that moves the chains for Gulf Coast. Clock is down to 5:55. They got to get something going here. In the shotgun, Hatton in trouble, gets away, and he's going to be brought down at the 31-yard line. Second down coming up. And that's going to be a loss of 1. They got to get something going here. It's 5:28 to go. 3 wideouts to the right, 2 to the left. Hatton takes the snap. Over the middle, pass is batted. Hatton catches it and is brought down at the 20. It was batted in the air. A huge play that time by Jones, by Felton Collins. So in the book it goes Hatton to Hatton, but you almost wish he would have knocked it down.
Yeah, they teach them. They teach those quarterbacks situations like that and make sure it goes to the ground. You don't want to catch it back there. You can't throw it again anyhow. So he should have just slapped that one down.
4:45 to go, 3rd and 11. Just about do or die time here as Hatton creates some running room across the middle and gets it back to about the original line of scrimmage, and he got smoked as he fell down right there with 4:29 to go, and 4th and about 10. You got to figure the Bulldogs will go for it here. Got to figure this is probably the last chance. 4:15 to go, 35-21. They don't seem to be in any hurry here. They got to get this thing going. they're in trouble. Hatton with the shotgun. Nobody to throw to. Now throws it deep. Got a man out there, and the pass is caught on the far sideline by DeQuill Williams. He had 2 men over there. DeQuill brought it in. That stops the clock. And Coach Campbell over there is pleading for his men to get down the field and get a quick score and try to pull this thing out of the fire. That's been the first positive play we've had here in quite a while.
You know, Bill, that with those 2 receivers running into each other, that may have cost us a touchdown just then. He was wide open. Quickly
to the line. Now Hatton going deep. And Williams is down there, and does he have it? He does. Touchdown Bulldogs. 37 yards. But a flag is down, and I'm thinking that's going to be pass interference, so we're going to keep that one. And for the first time in the second half, it appears that the Bulldogs have scored, and they went to the money man, DeQuill Williams, and that's going to be pass interference. It's going to be declined, and that's going to be a 37-yard touchdown pass from Clint Hatton to DeQuill Williams, and they needed that bad. Well, that couldn't have come at a bigger time.
You know, that scares me when they scored that, to the 2 touchdowns here late. The Bulldogs answered back with 1. They still got some work to do, but this is important right here.
Extra point is up, and it is right through. Stephen Broccoli's been perfect on his extra points tonight, so with 3:41 to go, don't fold up the chairs just yet. It's 35-28. Jones over Gulf Coast. 37-yard touchdown pass from Hatton to Williams. And boy, I tell you what, this DeQuill Williams, when it's money time, he's shown up this year.
He is the money guy. You know, we went to Bell last year and the year before. He's, he was superb. Williams, a little bigger receiver, fast. He's got excellent hands. He's your money man you go to. You know, I was going to tell you, we got a few seconds here. I was going to tell you about Ben Stevens, about how the Stevens is got into this area right here. His great-grandfather is the largest timber manufacturer in this whole part of the country, and he owns over 50,000 acres of land in the Perry County area, Jones County area, and the Greene County area.
There's a nugget you won't get anywhere else, folks. I didn't know that either, and right here in the Pine Belt, business has to be pretty good. You know, I see a bunch of cars leaving out there. I don't know if the Jones fans thought they had this thing in the bag. Whatever the case, we'll see if the Bulldogs try the onside kick or they try to stop them down there and go 3 and out. Different formation for Gulf Coast. Let's see what they do. 3:41 to go, down by a touchdown. Broccoli sets it up. We're ready to go. And they try the onside. It goes 10 yards. They're struggling for the ball at midfield. Let's see what happens. The Bulldogs say they have it. No signal yet. And Gulf Coast has it. Coming out of the pile is Xavier Bingham, and the #1 team ain't dead yet.
What about that? What a beautiful onside kick. They had to know it was coming, but he couldn't. That was perfect. I mean, it was rolling right in front of him as he kicked it off the tee, and they have to wait till it gets to the line before they can touch it. So that's just a superb job by Gulf Coast right there.
Broccoli put it right where he had to, and it looked like the Jones players just kind of froze right there. Doesn't matter. Xavier Bingham, who's been one of the best special teams players for Gulf Coast this season, came up huge. Gulf Coast has it 1st and 10 just across midfield. 3:35 to go. They're down by 7. Hatton back to pass. Caught over on the far sideline. Guess who? DeQuill Williams out of bounds at the 40. Pretty close to a Bulldog first down. Actually, he's about 2 yards short, so it'll be 2nd and 2. Hatton in the gun, looking left. DeQuill Williams open again, and they're just not even thinking about covering him, and that's a Bulldog first down. It's not a good idea not to cover him.
That's money over there, buddy, and you better not give him that kind of room. He'll turn on you and take off.
If they're going to do that, give him a double move and send it. 3:15 to go. They move the chains and the clock resumes running even though he was out of bounds. We're going to find out about that because it sure seems like it's running pretty quick. Whatever the case, inside the 35, Bulldogs trying to tie it. They flare it out right, and that's JoJo Snell, but Snell will go nowhere. Good coverage that time by Jones. The clock now inside 3 minutes. Check that. That's DeAdrian Terry who made the catch. 2:43 to go. Gulf Coast down 35-28. Trying to pull this one out of the fire. They got a touchdown. They got an onside kick, and now they're trying to tie it. Hatton takes the snap. He's in trouble. Flushed out of the pocket. He's going to run it to the 30, to the 20, and run out of bounds at the 15. Another Bulldog first down, and that'll stop the clock with 2:25 to go.
Bill, I don't understand them starting the clock after our guys run out of bounds. This is college football. Even if you were in the NFL, after 5 minutes left, they stopped the clock. The clock's running, and right now it's running, and he ran out of bounds.
I don't get it either. Whatever the case, 1st and 10 from the 15. 2:15 to go. Bulldog fans on their feet on the far sideline, and before Hatton can throw it away, we've got flags everywhere, and they're going to call false start on the Bulldogs. The way it's going here, that's not a bad thing. That stopped the clock. I really don't understand that at all.
I got to ask some of these coaches after the ball game. They've done this the whole game long. When our receivers make the out routes, catch it and go out of bounds, when they get tackled out of bounds, the clock stops. That's it. This is college football. They've ran it the whole game long.
I don't get it either, unless there's something we might be missing. They move it back 5, so it's 1st and 15 from the 20. 2:07 to go. Gulf Coast down by a touchdown. Now they go to the running game up the middle. That's Snell, and he'll get about a yard, but that's going to eat up a lot of time. Now the clock inside 2 minutes. The Bulldogs have 2 timeouts left, and now we've got an injured Bobcat on the field, so that does stop the clock with 1:50 to go. This is bizarre.
I've never seen anything quite like this, especially on this time thing. I know we've been harping on it, and you're probably tired of listening to it, but our receivers are not even touched when they go out of bounds. When Clint Hatton just ran the ball down to the 15 and ran out of bounds, untouched, they started the clock back. I've never seen this happen in football ever, not in college football.
Felton Collins is the injured Jones player, and you know, Jimmy, even if it's a deal where, okay, they run out of bounds, they reset the chains, and then they say first down and the clock starts running, which I don't understand, but that might be a rule to keep the game going. I'm not sure. Like you said, we'll find out. Even if that's the case, it's starting before even the chain gang gets down there and set up. I don't get it either. Whatever the case, Collins is still on the ground. He's made some big plays for the Jones defense tonight. So while we have a break in the action, we'll reset things, catch our breath, and hold on. What Bulldog fans hope to be is going to be a fantastic finish as Collins coming off the field, limping a little bit, wondering if he has cramps. Still kind of a warm night, a nice night, but still kind of warm here in Ellisville. 1:50 to go. Jones 35, Gulf Coast 28. The Bulldogs facing a 2nd and 15 from the Jones 20. Just another MACJC battle, and the clock starts again. Now Hatton takes the snap, over the middle's got a man, and that's going to be pass interference on DeAdrian Terry. He had Terry open, and he got grabbed. That's going to bring it down, I believe, to about the 5, and the Gulf Coast will have it 1st and goal.
Well, if it happened in the end zone, they're supposed to put the ball on the 2-yard line. Now, if it happened outside, they'll penalize them half the distance of the goal. So it's important on where the action happened at. I thought it happened in the end zone.
But if it didn't happen there, it was pretty close.
I almost was sure he was in the end zone whenever contact was made. And now we're having a big conference again at the 20-yard. We've had more conferences than a group of lawyers have.
Yeah. Kind of like a trial, if you will. All right, let's see what the call is here. 1:41 to go if you're joining us on the internet, on Bulldog Live, or on 103.1, a barn burner.
On the defense, number 9, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Of course, the Jones fans don't like it. The Gulf Coast fans love it. 1:41 to go. The Bulldogs trying to tie this thing up. Just another MACJC South Division battle. That's all this is. High drama here in Ellisville, the #1 team in the country, trying to tie this thing up. First and goal from the 5. Hatton, shotgun. They're trying to get Williams on the fade. He brings it in. Did he get his feet in? No, they call it incomplete. He made the catch but did not get his feet down.
And he had Terry wide open, and he didn't see him. I'm sure it was designed to go to Williams. He had him wide open.
Oh, he got the foot down. That's a bad call. How do you miss that? He was standing right there. He was standing. Come on. I'm going to use a term my friend used to use in his softball games with the umps. You're killing me, Blue. Second and goal from the 5. Clint Hatton rolling out. He can run it if he wants. Then he throws it, passes, tipped and incomplete in the end zone. Third and goal coming up. Hatton tried to sneak it in there to JoJo Snell. 1:30 to go. What do you do here, Jimmy?
He's got to keep doing what he's doing. He's got to move out of the pocket. He can't afford to get sacked. He's got to move out of the pocket. I know that takes half the field away. I don't know if you try to do maybe a shuffle pass to Nettles or exactly what you're going to call here. They're going to sprint the field out. Let's see what happens.
Third and goal from the 5, 1:30 to go. Gulf Coast down by a touchdown. Huge play here. And before the snap comes off, I believe someone called a timeout, and it was Gulf Coast. So they're going to rethink this over and see what they can pull off here. 1:28 to go. Gulf Coast down 35-28. So the whole junior college world here focusing in. We had a paradigm shift last week as East Mississippi dropped from #1 to #4 because of the FCR rankings. We'll see what happens here. We still got 1:28 to go. What do you call here, Jimmy? Third and goal from the 5. You got to get it in there. You're going to take 2 shots, but you'd rather get it in on this play, I would imagine.
Well, remember the tight end pass in the first quarter? They hadn't been covering the tight end. We don't throw to the tight end. It might be a time to try that one more time. But I think he's got to move out of the pocket. They're going to be blitzing. They know he's going to be throwing, so they're coming hard. We can't hold. That's one thing. If you score and you hold, you're coming back. But I say he's got to move the pocket.
Sprint right option was the play Joe Montana hit Dwight Clark with to send the 49ers to the Super Bowl. They called it the catch. It's a play that all those West Coast offenses run down here. Let's see what the Bulldogs do. Hatton sprinting to his right. Looking for somebody, throws it. That pass is knocked away. Begging for offense or defensive pass interference is DeQuil Williams. He's not going to get it. I think that was a pretty good play by the Jones defense. Michael McLaurin. Yeah, that was dicey, but I don't know if you call it in that point. Bulldog fans would love them to call it. Now here's the ball game. 4th and goal from the 5. 1:22 to go. They had the touchdown in the end zone. The ref blew the call, but we can't make excuses now. They got to get this in.
Yeah, he moved the pocket like I thought he would do, but we brought everybody over here. We had everybody taken into the corner. Let's see what happens. This is money here.
11 on 11 for the ball game. And before the snap goes, I think Gulf Coast called their last timeout. I don't know if Campbell called that or Hatton. Yeah, this is a big play with 1:20 to go, down by 7. You want to make sure all your ducks are in a row. Now, we could sit up here, Jimmy, and say we had the benefit of replay, but you only have to get 1 foot down in college The back judge over there was standing right in front of it, and it looked to me like he was looking to see if he caught it, not to see if his foot got down.
That's the problem when you got that situation. It's his responsibility to watch his foot. Then he has to hit the ground maintaining the ball. It's a simple call. Watch his feet, then see when he hits the ground if he's got the ball. And that he did do that. He watched to see if he had the ball and didn't watch his feet.
Hopefully here on Bulldog Live we can pull that play up in a minute. But right now let's focus on this. 4th and goal. This is the ball game. Minute 20 to go. Hatton under pressure, rolling out, throws it, and the pass is dropped in the end zone. Someone got a hand on it. He was going to DeAdrian Terry, but making the play for Jones, knocking away possibly the game and the #1 ranking is Dion Fairley. So with 1:14 to go and no timeouts, Jones takes over. Wow.
Well, that's why you play them on the field and not on the paper. Stat-wise, competitive-wise, you'd say Gulf Coast would come out of here a 21-point winner. You get up here, you get in a hostile environment. The next thing you know, the cylinders aren't firing like they have been firing. You're running into a defense that's very stiff and stingy in the line. You're running into some bad problems with some officiating out there. I'm still going to get that question answered about running the clock.
Now Jones calls a timeout. And a second just ran off the clock. Well, clock issues aside, the Bulldogs scored what would have been the game-tying touchdown. Guys, I don't know if we can re-rack that or not, but I'd like to look at that play again because we saw it on the replay that Williams got his foot down in the end zone. Of course, it doesn't matter now. We're just crying over spilled milk is what we're doing. You just hate to see that. Of course, we have the benefit of the replay. But none of that matters because Jones is going into the victory formation. And Jones will up their record to 3-1 and 2-0 in the South. Gulf Coast now, here it is. You see Hatton? The fade to Williams. Now watch his foot after he catches it. The catch, the foot is down. He was not looking at his foot unless he bobbled it right there. Oh, okay. No, he had it. Unless we couldn't see him bobbling the ball, in the United States of America in tackle football, that's a touchdown.
Well, watch right here. We're showing it again. He corralled the football. His feet went down right. If you're watching it right there, he touched down there. In college ball, that's a touchdown. He still has the football. Then he hits the ground out of bounds, out of the back.
Comes up right there. That's why he called it. If you look at it again, the reason why they called it incomplete, when he hit the ground, the ball popped up in the air. So that's why he called it incomplete. You saw the ball get bobbled. That's what happened. So now, due to our instant replay, we see they actually, I think, made the right call. So, mea culpa on us. They made the right call there. We thought Williams had the touchdown, but it looked like he bobbled it away there. On replay, we were able to catch that. Whatever the case, the #1 team in the nation goes down to defeat 35-28 in a barn burner. And, Jimmy, when you sum this game up here in Ellisville, you're up 21-7 on the road, feeling pretty good. 28 unanswered points later, you're in a dogfight, and that was too much for this Bulldog team to overcome.
Well, you got to hope that they grew up some here tonight. You got to hope that they found out that you can't take for granted that you are #1 ranked in the nation. You go out and put 21 points up. You got control of the ball game, and then you come out and let a team take it to you, kind of like what happened last week. We just had more points on the board. But somewhere down the line, I honestly think we've got to beef up or rotate something else in to stop the run, the dive play. The dive play seems to be killing us more than anything out there, and Jones took advantage of it this week. Last week Hines did. What hurts here is Jones could go out undefeated in the South, and when the playoffs start, they'll host the first round, where we had high hopes of, after beating Hines, who I honestly thought was the best second team in the South, we would get to host it. Now we got to play for our life just to get into the playoffs. You know, we got to play.
Yep. Got a long road to go. That's why Coach Campbell says take it one game at a time. You can't look ahead all the way at that point. So, Jones, the home team, they get the upset, 35-28 over the number 1 ranked Bulldogs. So Gulf Coast will try to regroup. It's going to be a short week. And now they get ready for a Northeast team. You remember Northeast, we played them in the playoffs last year and had to beat them in overtime. And Northeast, if I'm not mistaken, is the one team that's beaten home, so there's not going to be any cupcake walkover either.
No, expected a high-powered team that throws the ball a lot. They use that West Coast spread-type offense. They're going to air it out a lot. But after watching these films, I know Jones watched the Hines film and saw how Hines got back in the game. They're going to watch the film to see how Jones took the lead on Gulf Coast after they had all those touchdowns unanswered by the Bulldogs.
However, when you look at it on the bright side, all these young players, this is a chance for them to grow up and realize, hey, they're not invincible. They've got a lot of football to be played, and I believe ever since I've been here, Jimmy, I've never seen this team lose 2 games in a row, and there's nobody better than getting a team ready to play after a loss than head coach Steve Campbell and his staff.
Well, tonight, you know, you never want to point fingers. This is a team effort by everybody. It's 11 on offense, it's 11 on defense. But for some reason tonight, where we've been grabbing touchdowns on the long ball, we were a little bit off. You know, our targets were a little bit off. The coverage sometimes was pretty good by Jones. But we didn't ever establish a ground game. And Bulldogs have always, under Steve Campbell, established a ground game. And no matter what back he put in there, we just couldn't establish a ground game.
A few nice runs in the first half, but for the most part, it got a little stagnant. And then after that, the Jones offense got going. Ben Stevens, 4 touchdowns tonight. He was terrific. Ruben Ducksworth, I'm sure well over 100 yards. We'll check the stats a little bit later. But however you slice it, it's a Jones victory. They defeat Gulf Coast 35-28. It's the first South Division loss by the Bulldogs since 2010. That was way back in an overtime game against Pearl River. It snaps the Bulldogs' 8-game winning streak over Jones in this long and storied rivalry. Another exciting game. If you watched it on internet or listened on 103.1 FM WOSM, this was one heck of a ball game. Unfortunately for Bulldog fans, we came up a little bit short tonight. 35-28, Jones wins it. We will be back this Thursday at 7 o'clock at the friendly confines of A.L. May Memorial Stadium for a non-division game against Northeast. We thank you for listening and watching tonight. A great job by our staff on Bulldog Live showing you the replays, and seeing the replay again showed us that, yeah, DeQuill bobbled the ball, and that was actually a good call by the refs. So anyway, we came up a little short. The Bulldogs drop a 35-28 decision. They'll regroup, take on Northeast this Thursday at 7. You can watch it right here on MGCCCBulldogs.com and listen on 103.1 FM. For Jimmy Davis, I'm Bill Snyder. Have a great night and a great weekend. Thanks for watching and listening.